Howdy, howdy, and meowdy. Good morning, catfish. I hope you're all having a fantastic start to your Monday, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time zone it may be. I'm having a pretty good Monday myself, even considering I'm streaming again today. Yesterday was the intended final stream before break, but uh, after 11 and a half hours, we couldn't finish Hanako's route, so we're finishing that today. We got to the very last scene of Act 3, at least, which means we are almost there. We are literally almost there. We have one scene of Act 3, a few decisions, all of Act 4. We're gonna cry a lot. Act 4 is pain, it's sad. I mean, Hanako's route is very sad. Like, it's depressing that everything you learn about her. But it's gonna be good. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna enjoy the rest of her story. We're gonna cry together. As I said yesterday multiple times and over on Blue Ski, she is the inspiration for the design of my VTuber, whose design is so simply the first character I ever made 10 plus something years ago. Their design is was inspired by Hanako, and their design went into my VTuber, so yeah, so Hanako is essentially the direct inspiration for my VTuber's design. And like every time I've submitted my VTuber for like reviews and stuff by other VTubers on their streams, people have been like, "Oh, is that Hanako?" And it's like, yeah, it's inspired. Like I'm glad people get that they can see that inspiration. And so let us dive right on into the field trip. I hope you've signed your permission slips because we're going on a field trip today, Catfish. It's gonna take a little for OBS to boot it up, but there's a change to the menu now, or the main menu at least. I might have to tab out and tab back in to get OBS to behave. Or OBS doesn't want to behave. Let's tab into OBS and then click into the game. That might get it to work. I don't mind sitting here vibing to the menu music for a little. It's calm, it's chill. Here we go. So now the menu has little scraps from each of the acts we've seen thus far. So there's Act 1, which is just Hisao's act. Then we have Act 2 and 3 of Hanako's, and as you do every character's act, it adds some more scraps, so this eventually becomes a big cluttered mess of scraps showing each character's acts. And you also get, we have the jukebox playing all of the music. Like, well, yeah, so you have to unlock the music by actually hearing it in game. So we're missing a few songs because some of the songs are character specific, like this one. And then you also get gallery scenes for each of everything you do. Like we've got a lot of hot so there's the starting one where Hisao has a heart attack, you get class, and me running into Hisao. Then we've got all of Hanako's, which God, it's depressing. Got some of Lily's too, because Lily and Hanako's acts run perpendicular to each other. And this is the special one you get for that's just this just shows all the little prop items and stuff that you get in the game, which is really neat. Yeah, 15 further images because we have not done all of the routes, so we haven't seen everything. And then there's a library that lets you go see the acts you've seen before. Like there's like all of the decisions, like each decision leads to a different path and gives you more things you can go back to see. Like we haven't made all the decisions on Act 1 that would take us other places. And we've only made the decisions in Hanako's route that are leading us to the good ending, because there's also the neutral ending and the bad ending, and I don't like either of those endings. I mean, neutral's not bad, bad ending's pain. Yep, and then this is all the cutscenes. One for each girl, so that's Hisao, I think that's Lily, that's Hanako, and those should be Ren, Emmy, and Shizune. So let us dive right back into beginning of the end, the final scene of Act 3 at 9 hours of playtime. Because I wasn't expecting it to take us that long to get to where we ended. Right then, are you taking the bus, Lily? Lily motions to a large suitcase standing beside her. I'll have to take this with me, so I've booked a taxi. It'll meet us at the school gates in about 5 minutes. Ah, I see. Lily reaches down and feels out the handle of her suitcase. Its weight causes some difficulty, so I quickly offer to take it myself. That is awfully kind of you, Hisao. She has no qualms about accepting, and I end up picking it up. It's not what I'd call light, but it's not exactly heavy either. I don't think I'll have too much trouble carrying it. Well, thank you then. We should hurry though. If the taxi leaves, then it'll take quite a while to book a new one. Are you ready, Hanako? Yeah, let's go. We rush to the gate as fast as we can, only to find that the taxi has yet to arrive. Good old taxis. Never there when you need them. Well, nothing like a bit of exercise in the morning. The nurse told me that I should be doing that. I think he probably had other things in mind, Hisao. And probably with more regularity. Do you intend to be helping people with their luggage every day? I guess not. Looks like we got a bit to wait anyway. How long should we wait for the taxi before calling them again? I would say another 10 minutes, but they've never let me down before. It's probably just a little traffic. Okay then. So how long is the flight to Scotland? Oh, 16 hours on an airplane, Jesus. About 16 hours, if I remember correctly. It's a bit hard to tell with the changing time zones. So long. Yeah, that is long. Longest I've ever been on an airplane was 4 hours. 16, I can't imagine, jeez. It's now that I realize Hanako's been unusually quiet even for her. She doesn't handle stress well, so she's looking really uptight. Yeah, I can't imagine being on a plane for that long. You and me both. I've only ever flown on a short family holiday up north, so it really is quite hard to fathom. If Hanako spent so much of her childhood at an orphanage, she's probably traveled very little, let alone flown. It's not too bad. I'll spend most of it either asleep or catching up on my English. I hardly use that here, so I need to refamiliarize myself with it a little. Will your accent be a problem? I wouldn't worry about that too much. It may be an issue initially, but I should be fine once I get used to it. We all move to sit down on the small bench beside the school gate in silence. Strangely enough, even though I know that Lily is going away, I can't think of anything to say to her. Lily is a reliable person, so it might be because she isn't the one that I'm thinking of most. Lily might not be able to see it, but Hanako's chewing her fingernails nervously. Oh, you too? It's not a good habit, I do that. I move to talk to her, but can hear an engine straining up the hill before I get the chance. I think the taxi is on its way. Well spotted, Hisao. I only just heard it as well. A small wave of pride washes over me. To have noticed something at the same time as Lily must mean I've become more aware of my surroundings. Let's go, Hisao. Anyway, we won't have to call the taxi company, nor worry about missing Lily's plane. Howdy, howdy, Mix. Welcome, welcome. The 7 TV's kind of broken right now, so none of my fun 7 TV emotes work, which is kind of annoying, but yeah, 7 TV just has to fix itself. I hope you're having a good Monday. Once the taxi stops where we're standing, the driver rolls down a window and leans over. After confirming that, yes, Lily is the same Lily Sato that booked the trip, we sort out her luggage. Hectic's not too bad, but I'm glad it's been good. The driver opens the trunk of the taxi and takes Lily's suitcase, with Lily climbing into the back seat as he loads it into the trunk and slams it shut. After getting back into his seat and shutting the doors, he waits for us to say our farewells. Have a safe trip, Lily. Take care of yourself. Hanako looks understandably downcast, and that much is obvious even in her voice. Of course I will. I'll be back before long, don't worry. There will still be another person here for you too, won't there, Hisao? Yeah, of course. I turn and smile to Hanako, putting my hand on her shoulder. She only manages to keep eye contact with me for a couple of seconds, her cheeks red all the while, before turning back to Lily. See you, Lily. Goodbye. Lily gives her farewells to both of us with a fair measure of reluctance. Without further ado, the driver starts the engine once more and they begin the journey down the hill and towards the airport. The two of us stand at the gates for a long time even after they've disappeared from sight, not really knowing what to do. So, what do you want to do? I don't know. And this is where you get to either the bad ending or go towards the neutral and good endings. This is the bad ending. This will get you to the bad ending, and that's cringe. We're going into the city. It's gonna be fun. The bus stop, standing by the school gates like a mute sentinel, puts a strange idea in my mind. Do you want to head into town and look for a bookshop or something? You have the rest of the day free. It's a long shot, as Hanako doesn't like going into the city. I count the fact that we managed to get her out there even when it was so dark as a small miracle, but I genuinely want to spend more time with her. Anyway, she's likely to just refuse and go back to... Okay. Really? Really, let's go. Yay, we're going with our Oomphy, our best girl. I can't work out why Hanako has decided to agree with me, but I'm not about to ask her to change her mind. Stepping off the bus, I immediately notice that a lot of people are around us. In hindsight, it should have been obvious. Of course lots of people will be downtown on a Saturday afternoon. Hanako retreats close to my side, and I can feel her hand clutching my arm tightly. Her body is held against mine, and her head is bowed so low that her hat hides most of her scarring. So, where shall we go? A bookshop? Hanako's present, and my other general living expenses have pretty much drained my budget, but I should be able to afford a few books. There's something I try to reserve a few funds for anyway. For a second, I think Hanako didn't hear me, but then I looked to my side and noticed her nodding almost imperceptibly. Okay, do you know of one? Actually, I do. We passed a few when Lily and I were looking for your presents. Hanako's expression clouds a fraction. I've got to remember to stop bringing up her birthday. You both spent a lot of time? Or maybe I misjudged the situation. We wanted to make sure we got the right present after all. Hanako smiles and blushes a bit. It's a small treasure when she does. She's so adorable, I love her. Anyway, there should be a bookshop just up ahead. Do you want to check it out? Sure. The crowd starts to build as we head towards the bookshop along the raised walkways. Hanako latches her other arm onto me as well, making our progress a little slower. I don't... that's the good option, having a girl clinging to you. Don't complain. You've got a girl clinging to your arm, it's cute. As we walk, the sound of the traffic makes me think of a possible distraction for her. I was wondering, Hanako, have you thought yet about when you're going to learn to drive? Driving? I don't know how to drive and I'm 30. Driving's scary. Yeah, you're kind of lucky in a way. There aren't a whole lot of students in Yamaku that are allowed to drive. It's not the best topic of conversation, but I want to try and distract Hanako from the situation. She's really high-strung now. Then again, all I've really done is make her feel awkward, and she's probably never thought about it. I wish I hadn't said anything. Before long, we are before one of the bookshops Lily and I passed during our search. What kind of self-respecting bookshop closes on Saturdays? Bookshops don't make much money anymore because of the internet. Maybe they just had to close over weekends? She seems pretty knowledgeable at technology. I guess it's a pursuit that would lend itself well to somebody who enjoys solitude. Huh. I guess that makes sense. It's easier to find books online. Anyway, it looks like this idea is shot. Anything else you'd like to do? If it's not a bother, could you show me where you bought my present? Sure, not a problem. It's not far from here. I head off in the direction of the store, only half sure of its exact location. I don't want a repeat of the last time, spending half the day walking around aimlessly. Here we are, Othello's Antiques. It's small. Well, yes, it took Lily and me some time to find it. Can we go in? I don't see why not. It's open. Hanako pushes through the door and enters before me. Once again, the store is empty save for the store owner. His face drops a little when he sees me. Oh, you're not here for a return, are you? Wait, that's not the girl you had with you last time. No. We're not here to return anything. We were just in town and wanted to have another look here. The store owner considers this for quite a long time. I guess he's not used to high school students coming to his shop on a regular basis. Might this be the friend you bought gifts for? That's right, they were presents for her. Store owner turns to Hanako, who freezes on the spot like a deer caught in the headlights. He moves to address her, but stops before doing so, looking a little taken aback. He catches himself staring and looks to the side, addressing us indirectly. His expression is awkward and tense, as is his entire body. I want to be mad at him, but I know full well that I had the same instinctive reaction when I first saw her. First surprise, then curiosity, then an awkward look away as I dealt with what I'd seen. Hanako looks less panicked than before. But I think the feeling she's giving off now is worse. It's not anger, nor annoyance. If anything, it's one of apology. You're lucky there, young lady, to have friends that care about you as much as they do. Th- Thank you. If I hadn't spent so much time with Hanako, I wouldn't even have realized that she said anything. Then again, the store owner's mumble was hardly clear either, thanks in part to being directed away from us. Hanako stretched out into the store, gazing in wonder at the various items on display. She finds the doll section and spends lingering minutes studying each and every one. It's a side of Hanako I've only barely been introduced to. I was astonished when Lily said she liked dolls, and even more so to find her collection sitting on her dresser. She looks a little better now that she's distracted and out of the store owner's sight, but I'm still quite put off by the whole experience. I might have my own problems, but I've never had strangers react to me like that, as if I was something completely alien to them. This is a nice shop. Yeah, it's not what I expected. Do you want to buy something? I didn't bring any money. Well, we can always come again. Now that I know where to find it, that is. We can? Of course, we can come here as often as you'd like. Thank you. You don't need to thank me, I almost forgot where this place was. I don't really think either of us completely believes in what we're saying, but rather we're just repeating what we think we should say. Can we go back to the school now? Sure thing, let's go. As we leave for the bus stop, I see the store owner peek through the curtain at the back of the shop. I'm not really sure what the glance he gives to her says. It feels a bit weird, and the fact that Hanako didn't see it is both a relief and a bit frustrating. Hanako and I stop walking once we reach the concrete area between the dormitory buildings. There was barely a word said between us on the way back from the city. Well then, goodbye. Do you want to have some tea or something? How about a game? Hanako shakes her head embarrassedly. I'm tired. Maybe later? I've got homework. She sounds a little depressed. Hanako obviously does want to do more, but I suppose she would have a bit of schoolwork to catch up on. She's missed a few days of lessons. Ah, homework. Thanks for reminding me. I've got a stack to do as well. I guess I'll see you tomorrow. See you, Hisao. Before I can say goodbye, Hanako's turned and begun walking towards the entrance to the female dormitory building. I look at the door she disappears through for a bit before going off towards my own dorms. Today was a tiring day. Let's go Act 4. Things are going to get very depressing, and I'm probably gonna cry a lot because I cried when I played this the first time. Like, we got like 6, 7 scenes to go, and I know I'm just going to cry a bunch. This made me cry the first time I played it. This made me cry every time I've played it after. I woke up, took my pills, had a nice shower, quickly slipped on my uniform, ate a tasty breakfast, grabbed my bag, and headed off, all as per my usual daily routine. It was only after arriving in class that the normality of the day was thrown off. After taking my seat, I watched my classmates trickle into the room over the next hour until every empty seat was eventually taken other than Hanako's. I can never get used to the idea that she just doesn't show up to class every now and again. It feels all the more worrying now as well, given that Lily's left. As Muto continues to drone on, I find my gaze flicking every so often over to her seat, as if she might appear there any moment now. Nobody else seems to care at all about her absence, but they have little reason to. Hanako being absent from class, after all, is perfectly normal, or at least it was. Her attendance hasn't been all that bad from what I've seen in my time here, but it was apparently much more spotty beforehand. This is also an ominous time for her to be gone. It's the day before her birthday, and my suspicions are starting to rise after the breakdown she had in class when it was mentioned. An increasing amount of my thoughts is taken up by how I can help her, but in the end, I feel like I can't do anything. The bell heralding the beginning of lunchtime rings out, shaking me out of my thoughts. A collective sigh of relief can be heard from the class, though Muto looks quite put off. He dislikes being interrupted in the middle of his exciting lectures, after all. I would too. Science is exciting. I like science. Just when I'm wondering what I should do on lunch break, given that Hanako and Lily aren't here, the solution presents itself. Afternoon, Heat-chan. Afternoon, Misha. Shizune. You both look as bright as ever. Heat-chan wants to know if you'd like to have lunch with us today. Sure, it'd be good to have some company. The cafeteria hums with activity, much like my old schools did. Yamaku was different, though, in how strangely civilized the lunchtime rush is. What one would expect to be an unruly mob chomping at the bit to get to the serving area is, rather, a neat and organized line. There's a small amount of jostling, and people's heads are often craning around to check on what's happening up ahead, but it's pretty subdued. This is due, no doubt, to the various serious rules regarding such matters in this school. The same strict discipline is observed when students move in the hallways or come to and from their dormitories and the school gate. While the reasons for it may be slightly off-putting, I've come to quite like the sense of order that's enforced in the school. I didn't really like being told by Shizune and Misha to get their lunches, though. I feel a little used as I take a seat at the table where they're sitting, plunking the food down in front of them. Sweet bread and strawberry milk for Misha, a bowl of ramen and juice for Shizune. I heave a sigh of relief as I put it all down after the significant difficulty I had carrying it all in addition to my own lunch. Man, ramen sounds good. Might have to get myself some ramen after stream. Thank you. Misha claps her hands together before popping open the wrapper and digging into her bread ravenously. Shizune simply gives an appreciative nod before giving her steaming ramen a stir and blowing on it a little to cool it down. I open my own lunch, another packet of sweet bread, and take a bite before washing it down with some juice. The bread is very sweet, so much so that I end up forcing myself to stomach it just to get the experience over with. Midway through, I decide to take a break from the difficult task and ask what's on my mind. So, I'm guessing you two had a reason to drag me down here? You two seem to always have an ulterior motive after all. What are you saying, Hifan? We won't have any motive? Her mouth is full of sweet bread as she speaks. It's a pretty unpleasant sight. Hina looks a little grossed out before going back to eating her ramen. Yeah, Misha, you don't talk with your mouth full, it's gross. I wait until Misha swallows what she has in her mouth before speaking again. You're not buttering me up to make me work with you after school? Nope. Not trying to extract information from me that I might not want to give? Nuh-uh. Fine, you win. I guess you just wanted to eat lunch with someone as intelligent and handsome as me then. That's it, Heat-chan. You got it. Shizune looks unimpressed as Misha finishes signing our conversation and sucks in the last of a long noodle as she signs her own thoughts. Chi-chan says you shouldn't be so suspicious of us. She's just doing her duty as a class representative after all. How is she, are you doing that? As much as I hate to admit it, it looks as if I still have trouble communicating with Shizune. It should be a simple matter of keeping eye contact with her and addressing Shizune instead of Misha in my speech, but when somebody else is doing the talking for her, it's a surprisingly difficult task. It's the class representative's job to ensure everybody's doing alright in class, isn't it? Not really? Wait, how is making me get your food ensuring that I go well in class? Shizune huffs and adjusts her glasses disapprovingly. So this is the thanks we get for giving you companionship during lunchtime. That's a total dodge of the question. Wait, hang on. How did you know that I... Lily's away and Hanako is absent, and since those two are the only people you hang around with... Howdy, howdy, Red. Welcome, welcome, and yeah, thank you. Happy Trans Day of Visibility. You also made it kind of obvious to see. Ouch. I may well have done so, but she didn't need to rub it in. Maybe this is payback for before. Right? Well, thanks, I appreciate it. And that isn't sarcasm. The two nod and we get back to finishing our meals. It feels a little embarrassing to be accompanied just because they notice I was lonely, but it isn't as if they're strangers either. It isn't long before I finish the last of my bread and start on the last of my juice, and as I do so, I find my mind wandering back to what I'd been thinking about before the two interrupted my train of thought. Ooh, cat bath. I hope the cat didn't have too much of a fuss. It feels like I'm the only one in class that's so much as acknowledged Hanako not being there. It felt like this the other time she skipped class, but now it's even more acutely annoying. Oh, a dusty cat, that's no good. You don't want the cat to lick itself and get a tongue full of dust. Does nobody care if she's happy or not? Have they just written off any possibility of helping to make her better? Even Muto doesn't try to keep her in class, and I'm still not wholly convinced by his reasoning. Hey, Heat-chan, is your juice past its expiry date? What? You were pulling a weird face, like this. As if it were needed, Misha mimics my own expression. Her exaggeration makes me grimace, though she's gonna at least take some amusement from it. I was just thinking about Hanako. Oh? Misha's interest is piqued, and so is Shizune's once my words are interpreted for her. I'm just worried about her being absent so often, especially now, though, what with her birthday coming around. The memories of that incident in class are still fresh in their minds. Their faces alone are telling that much. Do you know anything about Hanako? Anything that might help? Misha shrugs and looks to Shizune, who mulls on this for a while. The only people she's ever talked to for more than a sentence or two are you and Lily. Shizune may not be able to convey Lily's name in a derisive tone of speech, but I feel as if it comes through in her sign language. The effect is lost, however, after Misha's interpretation. There are a couple of things we know about Hanako as student council members, thanks to the records that pass through our hands, but we can't say anything about what's in them. Understandable. It sounds a lot like the nurse-patient confidentiality. Every time I find someone that knows something about Hanako's past, it turns up being a dead end. The only way I'll ever find out is by asking her. I don't know if she'll let me know such things, but if it's for her sake, I'd have to at least try. Don't worry about it, Heat-chan. It happens every year, after all. That doesn't remove my sense of worry at all. I still feel a little at fault for what happened in class, but this feels like it goes further, even without their confirmation of that fact. Misha notes my troubled expression, her own usually happy and reassuring face dropping. Everyone has problems they have to deal with, right, Heat-chan? Yeah, I just wish I could help Hanako more with hers. With that, the conversation trails off on a depressing note. Eventually, Misha manages to pick the mood back up through her usual bright and bubbly antics, but my mind remains focused on Hanako. I'll go check on her later. I make sure my door is locked after dropping off my school bag. The dorms are quiet. Muto kept me occupied longer than I expected, discussing my studies after classes ended and pressing on me some worksheets to give to Hanako almost as an afterthought. Absorbed in thought, I'm late in registering the shadow that appears in front of— oh god. Looking up reveals the owner of said shadow. I'm just gonna put this face on immediately, because Kenji annoys the crap out of me. Hey man, I haven't seen you in a while. Oh, hi. What's with that response? My absent-minded greeting visibly annoys him. I'd probably have had the same reaction. Sorry, just thinking about a lot of stuff. Thinking is a pretty poor excuse to not be aiding the war effort. And how goes the war? I am preparing. Right now, I need money to help with these preparations, of course. If you want me to loan you money, just say it. No, man, I'm good. You're good? You don't want my money? Hey, man, don't look so surprised, it's insulting. I'm pretty big in the competitive bowling scene, but yesterday, I found some guys who didn't know that. I'm fairly sure that betting would be against the school rules. School rules don't matter, this is a war situation. People these days, they have no appreciation for what war means. So what do you need this money for, dare I ask? Non-perishable canned food, building materials, mostly corrugated iron and wood panels, first aid kit, camping heater, portable radio, sleeping bag, flashlight. This guy's a nut job. At first it strikes me as a rather random assortment of objects and materials, but after a few seconds it clicks. Isn't that a list of materials for a fallout shelter? Ah, so you've read a Protect and Survive booklet. It's good to see someone so knowledgeable about how to protect themselves. You don't seriously think it's a non-zero possibility. No, I'm pretty sure there's a zero possibility of that ever happening. The insane dude is on about some feminist conspiracy and he's trying to build a fucking fallout shelter in his school dorm. What the crap? What is his problem? Go enjoy your lunch. He slowly and dramatically raises an eyebrow. Well, as dramatically as one can raise an eyebrow. The chances, I don't know, 0.1 to the trillionth place. It's infinitesimal. Besides, where can you build a fallout shelter anyway? Certainly not on campus. It's my summer holiday project while I'm at home. My dad said I could do it. Really? Yeah, he said it'll improve my crafting skills and manual dexterity, or something. Knowing Kenji, his dad probably just thought it might keep him out of his hair for a while. Still, it does make me wonder what his parents are like. Maybe they're totally normal, and Kenji's just an aberration. On the other hand, maybe this kind of paranoia and fearful survivalism runs in the family. Hey, want to help me build it? You look like the type to be handy with tools. If I had your help, we could make a really badass bunker instead of just a fallout shelter. I doubt that. Playing soccer before my accident gave me good footwork, but I've never really tried my hand at anything approaching real handiwork. I'm not, really. I'm busy over the holidays anyway, I'm afraid. A shame. If the feminists ever get a hold of the launch code... What the shit, Kenji? What's your problem? Feminists getting hold of nuclear launch codes? What is your problem, you insane... Rude dude. And your fallout shelter will protect you from a nuclear bomb explosion in the case that this does happen? A fallout shelter isn't meant to protect against the blast, that's what a blast shelter is for. I thought you knew better. My mistake. My home's pretty far away from any major military sites, so the fallout following a nuclear exchange is a bigger concern than the blast itself. What this'll do is keep the dust and other particulates away from me, my food supply, and my sleeping area. It's gotta last me at least 14 days, though. 14 days is a pretty long time. It is. I need 1 liter of water a day for drinking, 2 optimally so I could wash as well. Toiletry is easy enough, just garbage bags in a bin placed outside the shelter area. Food means canned supplies, of course. Of course, and the radios are outside communication? Right. So I could pick up government alerts on what's going on outside. I need a mechanical clock rather than an electrical one in case the electromagnetic pulse from a nuclear airburst fries it too. There's all the other stuff I need as well, like extra clothing, matches, and candles. I think I still have time to gather it all though, maybe. As much as I hate to say it, I'm a little impressed. He's really researched this and thought it through. Then again, I don't know if I want to live in a post-apocalyptic world the only people like Kenji having survived. I wouldn't either. If the only people left in the world were jobs like Kenji, the world would suck. It sounds like you really know what you're doing. Damn right I do. It must be hard living in constant fear like this. He hardly ever socializes either, so the fact he went bowling with others is in itself something of a surprise. This mentality reminds me a little of a certain someone. Thankfully, her fear of others doesn't manifest in such a distinctly eccentric way. One thing I know for sure is that I certainly can't tell him exactly why I haven't been hanging around with him much recently. It's late, I have stuff to do. I'll think about making a fallout shelter or something, so... Yeah, alright, that's cool. A man has to do what he's gotta do, after all. You should hang out with me sometime, by the way. You're a cool dude. Cool dudes should hang out together, right? I wouldn't call you a cool dude, Kenji. You're a nutjob. For some reason, that compliment actually feels kinda nice. The situation with Hanako being what it is, though, means that I probably won't be able to fulfill his request, for now at least. That'd be good. I'll talk to you later about it when I can. Cool. Later, dude. He retreats to his dormitory room. I'd better go see Hanako. Thank God he's gone. Thank God the lunatic is gone. I stand outside of the door to Hanako's room, hoping that she isn't in too much of a state as I nervously clutch the worksheets Muto asked me to pass on to her. It's one more reason to visit her, and it gives me something to talk about, so I suppose I should be thankful to him for giving me the task. With a long breath to steady myself, I rap my knuckles on the door in front of me. Silence. I listen intently for any sound of shuffling coming from inside, but I can't hear a thing. I knock on the door again, slightly harder. Still no answer, how strange. Scratching my head, I make one last attempt at getting her to answer as I knock on the door one final time. Hanako, it's just me. Muto said to give you some stuff. For a while, the attempt seems just as unsuccessful as the last. Just before I slip the sheets under her door, though, I hear the handle rattling. Oh, not this music. What's this song again? Oh, goodness, for getting into the depression immediately. As the door opens halfway, I quickly try to see how Hanako's faring. It's a task made somewhat more difficult by her oversized gown hiding so much of her body. She doesn't look sick, or at least not immediately so. To be honest, I'd have preferred that to her expression right now. She looks terribly tired and appears to be barely acknowledging my presence. Hi, Hanako. Muto wanted me to give you these since you weren't in class today. I hold out the loose sheets, which she tentatively takes in her hands. The way she moves is devoid of thought, her posture is slumped in an unusual manner for someone that's so often tense and wound up. Even her eyes keep looking away from mine, doing their best to avoid eye contact. I move my head a little to try and get a better look, but she just ends up turning away. Are you okay? If you're feeling sick or anything, I can go get a nurse. It feels almost pitiful to put on such a routine, get well soon act. I can't think of anything else I could possibly do for her, though. She seems to collect herself a little at the notion, but only a little. Her head remains turned away, but her eyes move towards me. I'm fine. An awkward silence follows. As it lingers, I notice that the sleeves and the cuffs of her gown bear slightly damp stains. Her cheeks are a bit red too. Has she been crying? I see. I hesitate a little before coming out with the words I really came here to say. Would you like me to stay? I don't have anything urgent to do at the moment, so it wouldn't be any trouble. Her eyes slide away from me and I lose any hope for an improvement of her mood. I wait for her response, but she doesn't say anything nor give any kind of gesture. She just stands there looking away from me. Hanako? She slowly shakes her head. Okay, good night then. With that, Hanako steps back and closes her door without a second word. More than a little worried, I retreat back to my room. Wandering up the hallway, I keep mulling over what happened. It felt like Hanako was only half there. As if I was interacting with a robot that was just doing what it was programmed to without any real thought. She was a husk of a person. This is frustrating. I had hopes that meeting Hanako would help the situation, but I feel like it's only made it harder to understand her. How am I supposed to try and help her when she quite literally shuts me out like that? I don't even bother to turn on the light, opting instead to simply change into my pajamas, quickly choke down my evening pills, and collapse onto my bed. Once again, Hanako doesn't turn up for class. Try as I might to concentrate on other matters, this fact continues to distract me throughout the entire school day, and even as I walk through the gardens to the dormitories. I don't think today being her birthday is a coincidence either. I don't know the link between the two events though, nor do I have any idea on what she's feeling. I could speak. Over physical pain, I could at least provide some limited comfort. With something like this though, I have no idea where to start. I run the people I know through my head, thinking about whether they could help. Shoujo and Misha don't know that much about Hanako, and what little they do know they can't tell me, same for the nurse. In the end, there's only one person who knows Hanako well and would be willing to tell me anything. Entering my dormitory room, I notice something that takes me off guard, and it's starting to feel familiar. With everything that's going on around me, I'm thankful that this room started to finally be somewhere I can relax a little. When I first entered Yamaku, it felt immediately foreign in every way, from the untouched neatness to the way it smelled. Focusing back on the task at hand, I throw my bag onto the bed as I open the top drawer of my desk. Before she left, Lily told me the number to call her on while in Scotland, and I wrote it down. In hindsight, I wonder if she knew something like this would happen. Now that she's out of reach, I realize just how much both Hanako and I have relied on her for guidance. I dig around drawer after drawer looking for that damned piece of paper. Eventually, thankfully, I find it nestled under a borrowed library book. I probably should have just entered it directly into my cell phone, come to think of it. Without further ado, I entered the numbers and anxiously press the call button. Eventually, the phone picks up, a feminine voice I don't recognize on the other end. It's probably Lily's mother. Sato? English? Suddenly finding myself unprepared, I realize I can't understand a word she says, either due to my limited vocabulary or her heavy accent. I should have anticipated this, since according to Lily, her mother is a native Scot. I soldier on in the hope that she must know some Japanese, considering it's her daughter's native language. It's Hisao Nakai speaking. An enthusiastic sign of realization can be heard as she recognizes the language. My feeling of relief is immense. You must be one of Lily's friends in school, correct? Even so, her accent means I have to concentrate to work out what she's saying. Yes, that's right. Pleased to speak to you, Miss Sato. It's so nice of her to find someone so polite. Lily dear, it's for you. Her mother seems nice, if a little over-enthusiastic, given the mundane situation. There's a small silence as Lily takes her time getting to the phone. In the distance, I can just make out her mother scolding her playfully for just getting up. Let the girl sleep in. Lily does so much. Hello, Lily speaking. You sound awful. She makes a sound somewhere between a dying animal and a yawn. Honestly, mood? The one thing I did remember to check before calling was the time zone. It'd be pretty late in the morning over there, so she really has no excuse. Not feeling well? Just tired. What time is it there? Late afternoon. School finished for the day not long ago. Hanako is not well, is she? What's this song again? Right. This is where we make the decision, the big decision that leads us to either the neutral ending or the good ending, because we've managed to avoid the crap ending. That was quick. My assumption that she must have known something like this could happen seems to have been on the mark. How did you know? Because today's her birthday. I'd hoped she might have gotten at least a little better after coming to know you, but... How is she right now? She missed school today and yesterday. I still have to check up on her today. To be honest, after seeing how she was when I talked to her yesterday, I'm pretty anxious. I really have no idea what to make of it. Has this happened in the past? Is it related to her scarring in some way? Unfortunately so. Roughly the same thing happened last year when her birthday came up. As far as I can tell, it's because her parents died in the accident that caused her scarring, and Hanako blames herself for their deaths. What she says does seem to make sense. If she's blaming herself on her birthday, she may well be ruining that she was ever born. Honestly, relatable. I don't quite like my birthday much for reasons. Similar yet different reasons. Hanako had mentioned her staying in the orphanage to me. Maybe I should take some heart that she trusted me enough to tell me such a thing. Lily seeming so in the dark about it, though, almost to the extent that I am, is a surprise. So that's why she lives in the student dormitories as well. Has she told you any more about the accident? As close as we've come, she's very barely told me anything about what happened. What I know about it is largely conjecture. She sounds depressed, almost defeated. Considering the trauma Hanako must have gone through, I really can't fault Lily for not knowing. Nevertheless, she still seems to consider it a personal failing. Don't blame yourself, Lily, with everything she's gone through. There's a long silence from the other end of the line. I begin to wonder if the call cut out before the voice at the other end speaks once again. There is another person, though, that has been a subject of worry for me as of late. Oh? I run through the people she could be talking about in my head. The only friends she seems to keep very close are Hanako and me, though there is Akira as well. That person is you, Hisao. There's another silence on the line, but this time it's caused by me. Making others worry about me is something I very actively tried to avoid since coming to Yamaku. I mean, fair, I don't like making people worry about me either, but I tend to have a habit of doing so. Indeed, even my interaction with Hanako has helped stave off any major health problems thanks to our relaxed and slow-paced lives. Huh? What is there to worry about over me? I apologize, I didn't mean any offense. Sorry, I was just taken a bit off guard. Still, isn't Hanako a bigger problem at the moment? For some time now, I've thought that both of you may be feeding into each other's more worrying habits. I tried to amend this before leaving, but it seems to have done little. Worrying habits? When I asked you about what you had in mind for the future, your answer is very similar to what Hanako has said in the past when that question was posed to her. It is well and good to want to protect her, but I fear that treating Hanako like this, as if she were a daughter or someone in need of special care, is only going to achieve the opposite. So this gets the neutral ending. But we're going to agree with Lily because that's the right decision. You don't coddle someone like Hanako, you don't try to protect them, you help them. And you're not helping her any, Hisao. The situation got effectively turned on its head. After everything that's happened, this is the first time I find myself doubting Lily's judgment. I don't want to admit it, but she may have a point. Something else bugs me, though. And you try to amend this? Wait, our outing into the city? Quite astute. I thought that it might help if I dragged both of you out of Yamaku and into the wider world. I am thankful he became closer for it, though. So she noticed that. I suppose she may well have been paying attention to us, and her hearing's incredibly good, quite likely good enough to have picked up what we were talking about if she tried. This sounds more and more like you were manipulating us. Silence. It's a harsh way of putting it, but I have no intention of stepping back from those words. I'm sorry. I was just worried about you. It's fine. I guess there are more important things anyway. It's not a total surprise that she'd do such a thing. Her motherly nature can be slightly overbearing at times, but she does have the best of intentions. God, I would take a million lilies in my life than some of the people I've had to deal with. So you think I should think about myself more instead of trying to cater to Hanako? That loosely sums it up. Again, I'm sorry for not telling you this in a clearer way before going behind your back. I know I am at least guilty of being overprotective of Hanako as you, but I fear that you're neglecting yourself in your efforts to give Hanako happiness. Do you really think Hanako will be okay? She isn't as fragile as you think. I don't know exactly what experiences she's lived through or what feelings she has in her mind, but she has managed to work her way through them until now. It's also my hope that giving her a little space will allow her to decide what she truly wants for herself, and give her the initiative to reach out for it. Please have faith in Hanako, that's all I ask. I guess I'll think about it for a while. That's good. Being rash won't get you anywhere. I know that at times you may doubt your relationship to Hanako, but she does. Lily cuts herself off and takes a moment to reconsider her words. Please keep in mind that I wouldn't have befriended you if I hadn't thought you a fundamentally good person. You're a good friend to both to myself and to Hanako. Thank you, if that helps. You share some small talk to try and lighten the atmosphere, but it feels very stilted. There's a lot I don't know about Lily's stay in Scotland, but after such a heavy subject, I want to be alone for a bit to think. After a few minutes, we end up saying our goodbyes and I set my phone on my desk. Compared to Hanako's situation, mine feels utterly mundane. I still have both of my parents, I had a reasonably normal childhood, and unlike Manny and Yamaku, my condition isn't immediately visible to the public. But then again, isn't this just an attempt to justify the way I've been acting towards her? That may well be what our pasts were like, but when it comes to the future, I still have no idea what I want to do. In school, I've just concentrated on each day's work, and I've put off more and more things to cater to Hanako. I recall the words Muto told me after Hanako's breakdown about the purpose of Yamaku in my education. In hindsight, he was probably trying to push exactly the same thing. Just what have I been doing in the time since my heart attack? If I ever did manage to get Hanako out of her room and to open up, what then? I look out of my dormitory window as the sun slowly sets. It's a nice sight, but what I really savor is the quiet as the students return to their dormitory rooms. All I want to do now is think. I'm not sure how much time I have, but I want to work out where I'll go from here. Since talking to Lily yesterday, I've wanted to try and move on from the listlessness that I felt ever since coming to Yamaku. But even if I try to concentrate on the book in front of me, Hanako's empty seat at the back of the classroom looms larger than life. Every time I start getting focused, my eyes flick over to her desk again and my mind starts spinning. Once more, my eyes drift over to it, but this time my vision is blocked by a certain other classmate. Oh, hey Miki. Maybe you should just have lunch. I can hear your stomach growling from my desk. I let my head drop in disappointment. She seems to take some amusement from my reaction and hops up to my desk. Her grins as she sits on it reminds me of the Cheshire Cat. So, what you working on? Some math. I have a decent handle on it, but I just wanted to revise. Oh, really? Let me see that. Before I can object, she grabs my mathematics book with her hand. She scans the page I was on, holding it open with the one hand she has, her left arm sitting uselessly on her lap. In my time here at Yamaku, I've noticed that the other students have a wide range of adjustment to their disabilities, on a purely practical level. Miki is one of those who seem to have some trouble. The stump of her left arm tends to either be hanging by her side, slipped into her pocket, or otherwise put out of the way. Sometimes she has a difficult time doing common tasks, which makes her visibly quite frustrated. I feel a little bad for thinking this way, but I'm thankful that Hanako and I don't have disabilities affecting our freedom of movement to that extent. Yeah, be lucky that you don't have movement issues. Then again, if Miki's problem worsened, at least she wouldn't have a real possibility of dying. My attention is refocused as she thumbs through a few pages, skimming through contents. With such casual interest in the subject matter, it's clear by now that she won't be any help. I'm guessing you're not too interested in this stuff? Screw math, it's boring as hell. Thank you. Thank you, you agree that math sucks, that math is stupid. Thank you, Miki, who agree that math is garbage, let's go. Another great character. She puts the book back in front of me with indifference. Her eyes move to the notebook beside it that I'd been working out practice equations on. Wait, you're actually able to work that stuff out? Yeah? Wow, I've never talked to a computer with legs before. But, thanks, I think. At least I'm doing better in this than history. Think it's worth asking that librarian for help? I heard she's shooting for uni. Yuko? Maybe. I don't know what she wants to study, though. So what about you? Got anything you're thinking of doing after you graduate? Me? Nah, not really. Just enjoying it while it lasts. She looks a little awkward when asked about her future and absent-mindedly rubs her left forearm. I kinda want to ask her about it, but I don't think I know her well enough to do so. The conversation peters out and I lean back in my chair, giving up on the prospect of studying. Miki notices my tired expression and looks oddly serious. Thinking about Hanako? It's that obvious? You've been glancing at her seat and you've been pretty quiet, not too hard to connect the dots. I'm just worried about her. Yeah, I can see why you would be. She can get weird sometimes. She sounds put off, but I can't blame her. Hanako was a hard person to interact with before she warmed up to me, even with Lily around to help. I haven't known her for that long either, so some of her habits would still be unknown to me. My face becomes troubled. If I hadn't developed feelings for her, this would be at least a little easier to deal with. Ooh, that's unfortunate. It's never fun to get scratched by a cat. I mean, no offense. She isn't a bad person, I know that much. I know, I didn't take it that way. It's just harder to deal with when, well, you know, you have feelings for someone. Yeah, I can imagine that. It's hard to forget something like that, what happened to her during class, too. I wish she hadn't reminded me of that. She just confirmed that it was clearly noticed by others in the room as well. Come on, don't get that down. She's done this before, you just gotta wait it out. She locks herself in her room and acts like an empty husk of a person for a sizable amount of time, ever since she entered Yamaku, if not before then as well. And I'm not supposed to be concerned about that? I mean, I've acted like an empty husk of a person before. I'm better off now. Now, I say. Well, I might think that, but there's nothing that I can do. I can't force her to come out, and she does see a therapist, so it's not like she isn't getting any help for her issues. Maybe it's natural to think that way when you're so powerless to help someone. That's just the way she is, and you just have to deal with it. As I mull things over, I notice a movement out of the corner of my eye. I glance to see who it is, and I end up doing a double take. It's best girl, let's go! Sure enough, it's Hanako. She walks through the door just as she would any normal school day and begins to move towards her seat in her usual silent and humble manner. She looks at me for a moment before blushing and looking away in embarrassment, which makes me realize I was staring at her. I feel sorry for that, but not doing it is hard after all that's happened. The girl sitting on my desk looks to me, grinning. See? Your sweetheart's back already. What did I tell ya? You be quiet. Yeah. Shush, 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 you shush, Miki. You shush, 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 shush. You shush. Zip your lip. It might only be meant as a joke, but she hits close enough to make me quite uncomfortable. As we talk, someone calls Miki's name from the door. She jumps down from her vantage point on my desk before turning to me. Gotta go, Hisao. Remember to eat sometime, will ya? Fine, I will. See you. She gives a casual salute before jogging over to the door where a male student in a gym uniform is waiting for her. Probably someone from the track and field club. Seizing the opportunity, I get up and make my way to Hanako's desk. Hello. Hi, Hanako. What's up? Nothing. Maybe talking to her this soon after she came back to class was a bad move. Want to go come with me and get something in the cafeteria? I'm pretty hungry. But I thought you were studying? Studying can wait. Turning up for class after all this time must have taken some courage for Hanako, so the least I can do is stay with her. That's just the way she is, and you just have to deal with it, is the way Miki and probably the class as a whole views Hanako. I can do more for her, though. I want to do more for her. After being distracted by Miki, I don't think I'm going to get any work done. Come on, let's go. She hesitates, but eventually gets up and joins me as we begin walking. These may be small steps for her, but the fact that she's finally out of her room of her own volition lifts a large weight off my shoulders. Another scene. I think we're maybe 2 scenes into Act 4 of the 6, I think. 6 or 7. In fact, I'm just gonna bring up the flowchart I have real quick, just so I can confirm. Like, I absolutely refuse to do Hanako's bad ending because I don't like it. It's it's not good. It's painful, honestly, like really painful. Oh, I did not mean to skip to that one. Okay, zoom, zoom, zoom. Okay, no, we're 1, 2, 3. We're 4 of 9 in. We got past the big main decision of Act 4, which would have sent us to either the neutral or continued to good, so we're going to good. Let's go. Also, Twitch, why do you gotta be a doo-doo? Why do you gotta disconnect me from chat? That's kinda cringe. Anywho. Also, there's a point where I will... Howdy, howdy, Blorts. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. It's appreciated. I hope you get some good sleep. I am having a good time getting ready to be depressed and cry as I get to the end of Hanako's route in Katawa Shoujo. Because this makes me cry every time. It's sad. Her story is sad, and I can relate a lot. Like, what we've learned of her thus far is that she was in a house fire, potentially on her birthday, and it scarred her badly and took her parents from her, and she grew up in an orphanage because of that, and that's honestly just really freaking depressing. But we haven't learned more of that just yet, but we will soon. Her story it's not good, it's sad. But she's precious. I love seeing her smile so much. My pen busily scrawls onto a slowly filling page of my notebook. My other hand remains on the page of a reference book I borrowed from the library, marking my spot as my eyes flicker to and fro. Like, this is a visual novel about a boy named Hisao who has a heart attack when his crush confesses to him. And after he recovers, he has to start attending a school for disabled students because he can't really attend a normal school anymore. And so all of the love interests in this have disabilities of some sort. Which is, you know, it's an interesting premise, but it's actually really well done. Like, everything's taken super seriously. Like, it's not played for jokes or anything. Like, everything's done so seriously and stuff. So, like, the characters, like, everything's just done so with such care that it feels like they put a lot of attention to this. Like, one of the love interests is deaf, another's blind, one's missing her legs below the knees, one's missing her arms, and the one I'm looking toward, Hanako, is badly burned on the right side of her body and has crippling anxiety from being picked on and ridiculed growing up, along with blaming herself for the accident she was in. Yeah, like all of them, all of the routes, all of the girls will take you on an insane field trip, and you're guaranteed to cry at least a few times. The music's also so good too. Like each of the girls has their own specific theme. Like I could save, go to the menu, and there's the jukebox that'll let me play through. I can't go to the jukebox here. I could just go to the menu real quick. Options. No, that's not it. It'd be extras. Jukebox. So everything that has a star on it is a song we have yet to encounter in the game thus far, because some of them are specifically songs tied to specific characters. And this one is Hanako's song. It's got a fitting title. Yep, and you can also go back and play through all the cutscenes. Like, each character has their own cutscene. You unlock all of the main cutscene pictures in... Oh, no, game's not over yet. I'm just showing off some of the music and stuff of the game. I'm still going at it. Like, you can go see, like, the gallery scenes. Like, each character has their own... Then there's a bunch of extra ones for various things. And then the library lets you play through each act again, so you could just go back and look at things. Because every decision you make leads you towards one character or another. And then every decision you make on a character's act leads you towards a specific ending. Like, I've done every decision that'll lead me towards Hanako's good ending. And we're still a few scenes away from the end. I refuse to get Hanako's bad ending on stream because I don't like it. It's depressing. I don't like having best girl yell at you. But yeah, it's nice that they just give you a chance to go back and see everything that you've played through again, just so you can review it. Absolutely. And like, that you can make save points as often as you want, so like, I made a save point here before a decision, because that's a decision I wanted to go back and do again. And like, you could just make endless save points so that you can save before every decision and then just go back and replay again, because we are almost 10 hours into this run, and we're not even done yet. I forgot that voice acting this on stream would take forever, that I was at it for 11.5 hours last night. And barely got to the end of Act 3. Also, when you open the menu, it tells you how long you've played, the current scene, and what the current music is. Yeah, normally it's 6 to 7 hours to play through the Act 1 and then a character's Act 2, 3, and 4, but I've been voice acting everything, so it takes a bit longer. And also just reacting to things, so yeah, it's definitely taking quite a bit of time, but it's worth it. This stream will only take me a couple hours at most, less than 3 at least. And this is honestly a very good final stream, a nice shorter stream contrasted to yesterday, and then I can focus on surgery and recovery. As I work, I occasionally mark red circles or underlines onto the photocopied sheets of paper that lie on the table in front of me. Wanting a change of scenery from the library and to avoid the distractions of the classroom, I decided to make use of the Shanghai for some quiet study time. Also, I noticed that 7TV is kind of broken right now, which is sad because I can't use my favorite screaming cat emote right now. Which I do have a 7TV emote on my channel, and I actually got it set up in Warudo, so if you use the emote or just post the text for the emote, it plays a sound. Just the 4 little A's. Because Warudo lets you play sounds or make your character do things if somebody types a specific thing in Twitch chat, which is really cool. I can tab over real quick and... Well, it should have done it. But yeah, it plays the groan tube sound when you do that, which is really neat. Kogi is absolutely going to have a wonderful time with Warudo when she gets her 3D model. It ended up being nice and quiet as expected, and being able to get coffee while I study is a nice bonus. Hanako may have returned to her normal self since she came out of her room, but I've done quite the opposite. Daily routine may have returned to us, but I feel as if I'm a different person. Maybe I'm not. It's only been a few days after all since I decided I want to try and get out of the rut I found myself in after my accident. But I want to change, and I'm now actively working towards that goal. Or at least, I would like to think that I am. This is impossible. Brute forcing this isn't going to work. What's more, I have another piece of writing I have to do after this. I fear that's going to be no easier. I look up in mild surprise to the source of the tentative voice. Yuko stands at the head of the table with a damp towel in hand, clearly having taken the opportunity to clean the tables while no other patrons were around. You have a good sleep, and I will definitely have a good rest of my stream, and thank you. Surgery will definitely go well. 2 days. It's 2 days away, I can't believe. She looks curious, her eyes as much on my work as on me. What's the matter? I was just wondering, what sort of work are you having so much trouble with? Oh, it's just history. I'm fine with science and math, so I'm trying to get my other subjects up to par. Yuko looks positively delighted at this development. I feel like I just chose the right answer on some big quiz show. Oh, I think I can help you with that. If you don't mind, of course. I briefly considered turning down the offer in order to not cause her too much trouble, but she looks too excited about this for me to do it. It would be mean to shoot her down like that after such a reaction. If you're willing to help, I'd really appreciate it. She claps her hands together and quickly deposits her towel on the counter before turning and taking a seat across from me. I take my notebook off the top of the textbook and hand it over for her to peruse. So you're studying the Edo period? Yeah, I'm not really much good at this though. She takes the textbook and reads a few pages from a random section near the middle for a bit, but the aura of enthusiasm she'd been radiating previously is rapidly sapping away. I'm guessing this isn't the kind of history you were expecting? Unfortunately not. My main area is European history, especially in the classical area. Sorry. She looks a bit downcast, but as she carefully closes the book and lays it back down on the table, her face perks up again. Would you like another cup of coffee? Oh, yeah, sure. Honestly, coffee while you're studying is the good vibe. Coffee or cocoa, just something warm. I reach forward and get my book back as Yuko gets up, takes my mug, and slowly walks to the counter to make another brew. As usual, she's absolutely silent as she does this. Every ounce of her concentration is focused on not tripping over or dropping the plain white mug. I take the opportunity to lay back and relax for a bit, the hum of the coffee machine filling the otherwise quiet air. It's small details like that which make me realize how much I've come to appreciate the little things in life. The peace and quiet of the local town, the discipline and order of Yamaku, the green of the trees that were so rare in my home city, the relaxed pace at which the aging residents live their lives. Everything feels so certain, it's comforting. I can feel myself beginning to nod off when the sound of the mug coming to rest on the table grabs my attention. Seems like it arrived not a moment too soon. Yuko takes her previous seat once again as I pick myself up and bring a hand around the mug to check its temperature. It's just a little too hot to drink right away, so I blow on it a little. It's a shame you don't like history all that much. I sort of guessed you might be more into science. How so? You've nearly read out the science fiction section of the library already. It wasn't hard to notice. You do have a good point there. Well, what can I say? You've pegged me just about right. We're pegging now? Ayo? You sound like you really take an interest in history, though, especially considering how specific you were about it. Do you study in that area, or something? Go on digs overseas? She giggles nervously at the thought. I'd like to visit the Mediterranean sometime and see the old architecture and art for myself, but I don't think I could trust myself to handle such delicate things. I'm saving up to formally study it in university, although I also read up on it whenever I have free time outside of work. So Miki was right about her university aspirations. Considering how she fares as a waitress, a more theoretical path may suit Yuko better. It's nice to hear that she has some ambitions though, considering how hard she works. I nod and take a careful sip of my coffee. By now it's cooled to the right temperature, so I begin to drink while keeping an eye on the book below, trying to read at the same time. A few minutes pass quietly, Yuko looking out the window and watching the world go by while I have my coffee and study. A movement catches my eye, and I look up to see Yuko smiling and waving to someone outside. Following her gaze surprisingly reveals the someone to be Hanako. She is looking at us from the side of the street across from where we are. Her usually all too visible timidity is largely absent, probably thanks to there being so few people around right now. Evidently, she decides to join us as after a little wave, she gives a quick glance up and down the street and crosses toward the side that the cafe is on. The familiar doorbell to the Shanghai rings as Hanako enters and makes her way to the table we're sitting at. Hello? Good afternoon. Hi, Hanako. What's up? Nothing, just going for a walk since the weather was nice. Yeah, I get what you mean. I'm glad I decided to study here instead of the library. It's comfortable in here thanks to that, better than the sometimes quite stuffy library. I look to Yuko, who nods in response. It's nice, just a shame that summer can't last forever. Oh, wait, sorry, would you like a drink? Hanako shakes her head. Thankfully, it's enough to calm Yuko down. How are you going with studying? Okay-ish. Oh, yeah, have you talked with Lily? I'm interested too. How is she doing? She's enjoying it, I think. I think that's all we're going to get out of her. Being around Yuko is tensing her up. It would be so nice to travel to Scotland. Green fields, castles, lovely small towns, men in kilts, interesting history. I can't say I see the appeal of men in kilts myself. Speak for yourself, Hisao. It does seem like a picturesque place, though. As we talk, the jingle of the doorbell rings again. Hanako is startled, noticing Yuko's panicked expression at the prospect that she might leave customers to wait a handful of seconds due to her chatter with us. Yuko gives us a quick bow, then hastily skitters over and greets the new customers, an elderly man and his wife. I watch her for a bit, craning my head around to get a good view. Hanako is staring at me with her one visible eye. She averts her head in embarrassment as I turn to make eye contact. I was just thinking that it's nice to have ambitions for the future. Yuko was telling me a little about her university aspirations before. Oh. It's a shame. If she wasn't so neurotic and overworked, I think she could be a really happy person. As much as I'd like to play host to Hanako and entertain her a bit, I do need to study as well. To be honest, I don't think the distraction from Yuko helped either. Sorry if I'm a bit distracted. I need to try and get this done, otherwise I'm going to flunk the history exams pretty hard. I'm left to running my hand through my hair in frustration. That letter needs doing as well once I get back to my dormitory room. I hope I have more luck with that than this. Damn. What with? Oh, I was going to write to Iwanako right now, though this is more important. All I've done is rattle myself. I can't focus on the work in front of me when my stomach is slowly turning at the prospect of actually attempting to write her back after all this time. I force myself to concentrate on the book, picking up my pen once I have a quick sip of coffee. After a few seconds, Hanako stops silently watching me and leans back in her seat, relaxing as much as she ever seems to be able to, looking out the window to pass the time. We stayed like this for a long time before leaving for the dormitories together. I'm surprised she had the patience to wait me out. Iwanako's letter lies on my desk beside a blank sheet of lined paper and an unused envelope. The tapping of my pen is the only thing to be heard this late at night. As I feared, my second task for the day turns out to be just as difficult as the first, if not harder. It's been so many months since we even saw each other. Even so, I can still remember what she looked like, what she sounded like, and what she acted like. By now, though, the little details are beginning to slip away. When I first saw her letter, I barely recognized her handwriting at all. Even the pink pen she always used was forgotten until her writing reminded me of it. I wonder why she didn't use it for the letter. She used to write everything with it. Maybe she thinks it's too immature now? I should be thinking about myself and about what I want to communicate to her. My mind can't stop concentrating on her, though. On the past we shared before it was taken away so suddenly. The bright and slightly garish decorations suit her sense of aesthetics. Picking up the letter to take a closer look at it, I give a long sigh. This is the last link binding me to my past. Iwanako didn't suddenly cease to exist when she left my hospital room for the last time, but I needed this letter to remind me of that. I had all those feelings neatly filed away. I felt as if I didn't need them, that I could just begin life completely anew. It was easier that way. In the end, I suppose that was a rather naive thing to think. Sooner or later, my past would have caught up with me one way or the other. What am I supposed to say to her? Thank you for bringing me closure? All the letter did was end the sense of closure I'd previously felt. Try as I might, I can't write so much as a single word down on the paper in front of me. I can't even think of what exactly I want to say. Putting the letter down on top of the blank sheet, I gather the materials together and file them away in my drawer. The clunk the desk makes as it closes makes me momentarily tense in frustration before I get up to grab a drink from the vending machine on the first floor. I tried, but I couldn't do it. After all the time that's passed, I still don't know how to deal with Iwanako. The library, while not humming with activity, is noticeably more busy than usual. Exams are not far away, and that's reflected in the number of students burying their noses in textbooks at the tables around us. I've been studying quite a lot in the past few days, just like them, in hope of doing well in the exams. This also means that Hanako and I have been playing games less, so she's begun studying just to fill in the time. Nevertheless, I found myself forsaken by her on this particular day. The textbook in front of me has remained on the same page for some time. After so much reading on subjects I couldn't care less about, if not for the exams, my mind is beginning to wander. I find my eyes flicking over to where Hanako would usually be, just like on the days she wasn't in class. Her usual beanbag in the corner of the room is conspicuously unoccupied. It was here that we first really met. I tried to start a conversation with her. She got skittish and eventually bolted from the room altogether. I probably shouldn't smile about it, but it was kind of amusing in hindsight. Nowadays, it's more and more difficult to imagine her doing such a thing. Even with Lily gone, she's been doing well now that she's come out of her room. I want to talk with her, or at least play another game of chess. I'm tired of studying, and it's been a few days since we've really done anything together. The question of where to find Hanako isn't a particularly difficult one. If she's not in the library, chances are that she's either in the tea room for some peace and quiet, or in her dormitory room. Deciding to check them in that order, I pack up my books and make my way out of the library. I stretch and give a loud groan as I walk down the hallway. Studying may be frustrating at times, but with the progress I feel I've made, there is also some sense of pride in getting it done. It's a good feeling. There isn't a sound to be heard from the inside as I stand in front of the door of Hanako's room. I guess that isn't very indicative of whether she's inside or not, given how quiet she usually is. Still, she wasn't in the tea room. I try knocking lightly to make my presence known, but am surprised when I find the door unlocked and yielding at my touch. I think this might be a little sussy, so I'm going to tab here briefly, just to click in and see. Okay, no, it's not sussy just yet. With a small creak, the door opens. It looks like my suspicions were correct. Hanako is indeed here. She's sitting at the table with an open book in front of her, but pays it no heed as she keeps looking out the window. She looks utterly oblivious to my presence. Yeah, because this is the Steam version, so none of the R18 content's here, but I don't know how censored things are, so... Like, it did censor Kenji, like, fully. Instead of there just being the leaf covering him, he was, like, fully shaded. So it might actually do a good job of censoring stuff, but I just need to make sure. With her head thoughtfully resting on her hand, she looks calm and collected. It's a shame she can't look like this more often. Smiling a little, I walk up to the table and softly speak to her. Good evening, Hanako. Hanako's head turns a little to see me, but she's still only half there. I put a hand on the table and lower my head to better look at her face, mildly curious about what mood she's in. What's up? She gasped a little, finally acknowledging my presence in the room for the first time. Hanako's blushing really heavily, her mouth is open just a little, as if paused mid-sentence. Most striking, though, is what she's doing. Oh, okay, it's not sussy, I wasn't sure. She's looking directly at me. Her eyes are pinned on my own from such a close distance that I can almost see my reflection in them. They don't turn away nor move at all. They're absolutely still, just looking into mine. Ah, such pretty eyes. They're dark and give her an almost analytical air. Even when reading on subjects she has no interest in, she would appear to be wrapped in her work to a casual observer. She absorbs information very well, and even now I can feel that. I feel like I'm seeing something behind those eyes that I never saw before. I don't know what it is, though. Hanako? Her lips move just a little, silently mouthing something. She looks like she's on the verge of saying something but won't say it. But that's the way Hanako always is. On the verge of saying something, but never quite doing it. As I look intently to her eyes, I realize something. Everyone has their own thoughts, things they want to say, their own worldview. But I can't work out what Hanako wants to say, and I can't work out what she's thinking. I never have been able to. It's frustrating. It feels like I don't know her at all, despite all the time we spent together. Heh. How? It's only now that I find myself blushing. I've been looking directly into Hanako's eyes from such a short distance with absolutely no regard for her, and she's been looking into mine without shirking away. I quickly look away while covering my face with my hand. Hanako does just the same. Another awkward silence reigns. I hate these. At first I accepted them as just being a fact of life around Hanako, but now all they feel like is an affirmation of how little we're able to communicate. Some anger makes its way in the complex mixture of emotions I'm experiencing right now. I want to bridge that gap between us. Friends shouldn't have to tiptoe around each other like this. I speak before I can argue myself out of what I'm going to do. My scarring isn't as bad as Hanako's, and I can't possibly compare my life to hers, but I want to show her that she's not alone. Doing this in such a blunt manner might be the only way to get my point across. Hanako, I want to show you something. I take a deep breath to prepare myself. This could backfire badly, but I feel as if we've come close enough for this to be okay. I'm not going to strip naked or anything weird, I'm just going to take off my shirt. Hanako's eyes grow to the size of saucers. Her face is an amusing mixture of curiosity and nervousness as she stands. It helps take the edge off my own nervousness at doing this in front of another person. Slowly, with my entire body feeling tense, I unknot my tie and begin to loose the first of the buttons. I'm trying to mentally block out Hanako to make this easier, but it's not really working. As I work my way down, I expect to hear some form of protest from her. She remains silent, though, which just makes this feel even stranger. With the last of my shirt unbuttoned, I take a breath and look at her. Hanako's gaze is fixed on my scarring, as expected, and once I nod to say it's okay, she steps forward and tentatively places her hand on the vertical line running down my chest. The scarring on her hand, a pattern of damaged skin across its surface, contrasts with the single uniform line that makes up mine. Her hand isn't trembling at all, unlike what I predicted. This is the scar from the surgery that followed my heart attack. The surgeons had to cut open my chest to operate on my heart. I never knew. Hanako's words are calmer and softer than usual. The soft feeling of her fingers moving from my scar to my breast makes me hesitate a little before continuing on. You're the first person to see this since I left the hospital. But why are you showing this to me? I wanted to prove to myself that I could do this, that I could accept my past and move on. I wanted to show that to you as well. She nods. From her reaction, she seems to know how difficult this is for me. More than anything, the scar represents a visible reminder of my condition. A reminder that I'm not normal anymore. That's something that, until now, I had tried my hardest to ignore. As the minutes tick by, Hanako's gaze lingers. Her eyes look less focused on my scarring than before. The situation feels a bit different than it previously did, and makes me feel slightly uncomfortable. Her hand retreats, and I draw my shirt close and begin to button it up. Her blushing face suddenly returns to its typical tense and timid state as she looks away. The room is completely silent as I fix my shirt and tie, feeling put off after such an unexpectedly intimate moment. So, I guess you're not the only one that's scarred. Hanako smiles a little at the joke, thankfully lightening the atmosphere a bit. Thank you, Hisao. I think I understand. I give a long sigh of relief. I really didn't know how she'd take it, but I'm glad everything seemed to have worked out as I hoped. Hanako's smile only proves that further. I'm finding the path I want to follow now, and what Hanako needs to do is to find her own. It's something I can't help her with, and it's something that she needs to overcome her past in order to do. Hanako checks her watch. It's getting late by now. Hisao? Yeah, I'd better be going. I'll be thankful for some sleep. It's been a long day after all. Good night, Hanako. Good night. I make my way out of her room and into the hallway, remaining silent as I do so. I think both of us have gone through a few motions today. The heat of the summertime sun beats down on my sweating brow. Dabbing with a handkerchief doesn't help too much in making me any more comfortable. Giving up on the idea of getting more done today, I stop and lean against one of the overpass fences, resting my bag on the ground. The stores in the town below Yamaku are well stocked and offer enough variety for me to get by, but at least an occasional shopping trip to the city is something that can't really be avoided. I've been here a few times now. The city's layout is getting more familiar, and the nostalgia from its atmosphere is beginning to wear off. I realize that I've begun to wheeze. I sound like an old man that's overexerted himself, and having to connect that to the fact that I'm the source is a bit disturbing. Oh boy, yeah, I don't like when I wheeze. I put a hand in my chest and concentrate for a bit to make sure I haven't gone far enough to cause any further problems. Thankfully, my heart is acting normally. There's no dull pain, and the beating is regular, albeit fast-paced, as I recover from overdoing things in this kind of heat. I hate my body. It's frustrating to be held back, even more to be held back by fear of my life being ended when doing something as simple as walking around the city for a while. I mean, that's fair. I can't walk for too much before my legs get sore. As I ponder on my health, I feel my pocket vibrating. By the time my phone's begun to ring, my hand is already fishing for it. A glance at the screen shows a call number I don't recognize. Strange. Shrugging, I press the button to answer the call and bring the phone to my ear. Hello, Hanako speaking. The sound of a couple of short breaths can be heard, but no actual speech is forthcoming. Hello? Hisao? It's Hanako. Her voice is really easy to place even if I've never heard it over a phone before. Hanako? Sorry, I wasn't expecting you to call. What's up? If you're not busy, I was wondering if you would like to meet up? Yes, I mean... She sounds really wound up about this. I can hear muffled voices in the background, and it's about time for afternoon tea, so I guess she'll want me to meet her at the Shanghai or something. That sounds fine. Are you at the Shanghai? I'm in the city. Oomphy, what are you doing in the city by yourself? Hanako's here? Alone? That's a surprise. It's little wonder she's like this if she's surrounded by people and entirely by herself. That works out well. I'm just wandering around there now. Where are you? Hanako manages to stammer out the street name, address, and some basic directions to where she is. Luckily it's not too far, so I agree to see her soon before hanging up. I look up to the sky. The summer heat is beating down. This is the first time Hanako has asked for us to do something together beyond a simple board game, and the first time, at least since I've known her, that she's come to the city by herself. Maybe this means that Lily was right. Of course Lily's right. She's always right. By the time I manage to stagger up to the cafe where Hanako is, I started to wheeze again. I'm sweating so much that I feel like a melting popsicle and can barely hold the bag in my hand. I need to sit down badly. The tables outside are all occupied by busily chatting couples and girls gossiping between themselves. The contrast between the different age groups and fashions of the people here and the people from the town near Yamaku is striking. I scan over the people sitting at the tables, but I can't see Hanako. She did say she was sitting outside, so I must just be missing her. Not difficult, given how small she usually tries to make her presence. I look around again, more slowly this time, taking particular care to see if I can find Hanako's hat. It's pretty distinctive, and I'd be very surprised if she wasn't wearing it. There she is. Sure enough, her head is kept low, and the table she's sitting at is right beside the building in an inconspicuous corner. I walk up to where she is and make sure that I have her attention before I sit, lest I give her a scare. She notices me and gives a small wave as I arrive at her table. Are you feeling okay? I try my best to laugh it off, but doing so just makes me more out of breath. Not very fit these days, don't mind me. Hanako nods, but still looks a bit put off. Now that I can get a good look at her face, something about her seems a bit different. I'm not sure if my eyes are playing tricks on me, but she looks kind of nice. Her eyes move upwards to look at me before quickly flicking down again. I begin to think this is going to be a rather quiet meeting, but a waitress thankfully arrives to set down a cup of tea in front of Hanako. Hanako almost automatically turns slightly away and lowers the side of her head. It's an amazingly practiced motion and does a good job of its intended person, hiding her scars from someone who's leaning in close. Her right arm is still laying on the table though, with the scarring on the back of her hand quite visible. Catches the waitress's eye and I move to quickly distract her. Excuse me, may I place an order? The waitress nods and gives me a couple seconds to look at the menu. Could I have a mango smoothie, please? Oh, that sounds so good. She gives a nod before almost enthusiastically bouncing inside. Everything is so different in the city in more ways than one. Hanako looks back up towards me and adjusts her hat a little. If she noticed the waitress staring at her scarf, she doesn't show it. Not coffee? I think I'd die from this heat if I had something like coffee right now. Resting my head in my hand, I look to my quiet companion. She seems taken aback, a very unexpected reaction to my lame joke. An unwelcome emotion bubbles up inside me as I realize her reason why. Unlike most in Yamaku, indeed, unlike anyone there that I'm aware of, my condition... Ooh, good kitty. My condition goes beyond limiting the activities I can do, or to be more precise, reaching those limits could have much more grave consequences. Thankfully, it's something that's very rarely come up since I entered Yamaku. I thought that it was so rare that Hanako and Lily might not think of it at all. It turns out that I was wrong. Hydrate I shall. Hanako silently drinks her tea while I wait for my drink, confirming that it's the right temperature with a small sip before she begins in earnest. I feel guilty for being the cause of an uncomfortable silence, since in the past I've been kind of hard on Hanako for those. Eventually, the same waitress as before bounces up, handing me my drink. I gather change from my pocket and drop it into her waiting hand before she goes off to attend to another customer. My eyes linger on her as she walks away. Do you think that she looks pretty? Hanako was following my gaze, her eyes taking in the waitress that served us. I can feel my blood slowly going to my cheeks as I rest my smoothie back on the table. Nah, can't really say that I'm really into that look. She just looked a lot like an old friend I knew before my heart attack. Did you have many friends? I had a few at my previous school, that I wouldn't say a lot. The four of us just hung around together after school and stuff. Do you still talk to them? I shake my head. No, gradually lost contact while I was stuck in the hospital. You're not saddened by that? Or angry? Hanako looks genuinely surprised. I guess it's the right reaction. Well, life did move on for them while I was stuck in the ward. I was pretty sore about it at the time, but now it's just a bunch of nice memories. Besides, once I came to Yamaku, I found new friends as well. That's quite a whitewash of what my feelings were back then. I went through some dark times during my stay at the hospital, and I really am glad that Hanako and Lily were around to help me after I left. Hanako blushes as we both get down to enjoying our drinks. She seems to have calmed down since I arrived, and I've started to feel a little better now that I've had the chance to rest a bit, so this is getting to be a nice outing already. Even if she's calmer than before, though, she's still fidgeting a bit. She runs her hand down one of her bangs as I try to think of something to say. That's right, I was going to ask. Hanako tilts her head quizzically. Hmm? I didn't know you had a mobile phone. How did you get my number? Lily gave it to me. I should have guessed. You know, you could have just asked. I'd have given it to you. Want to exchange email... What teenager emails? What year is this that a teenager's emailing people? Hanako nods, setting down her drink and fishing out her phone from her pocket as I do the same. I mean, maybe teenagers in Japan email each other, I don't know. It's surprisingly the same model as mine. Pink, though. Nice phone. She looks at me with a curious expression before noticing my phone and giggling. It's one of the very few times I've seen Hanako let her guard down enough to do such a thing. I didn't pick it up myself, though. Oh? It was a present from Lily. I never really needed a phone, and I couldn't afford one. She bought me one for Christmas, though, saying that we could use it to keep in touch. They see each other basically every day anyway, both in and out of school. Then again, Lily does have her class rep duties, and other friends that she talks with. It'd probably help for situations like this too when she's gone away for a while. Lily's a very special person to you, isn't she? She is. I love her very much. Hanako looks down and smiles as she thinks of her. None of my friendships were as deep as theirs, and I have to admit to myself that I'm a little jealous of their relationship. We tell each other our email addresses and thumb them into our respective phones, and I get Hanako's number from earlier and put it into my contacts list. Done. That makes 3 now. 3? Lily, Akira, and you. Akira. She's an interesting person, isn't she? She is. She's also really nice, though. Her suit makes her look a bit cool. I'm a little surprised you know each other well, what with her job taking up so much of her time. Hanako looks down a little and takes another sip of her drink. If I wasn't looking intently at her face, I'd miss the small smile perched on it. I guess when she knows so few people, those she knows must mean a lot to her. How many do you have? Me? About 9 or 10. I hesitate to go into them for fear of rubbing in the fact that Hanako doesn't have parents or apparently close relatives. 2 of those are Shizune and Misha too, which is another can of worms. I mean fair. I imagine that Lily would have more than both of us put together, probably. Hanako gives a childish giggle and I can't help smiling. It's a good feeling that she's gotten this comfortable around me at times like this. I feel like I'm getting close to talking to her true self. Do you mind if I ask something that I've been wondering? Hanako shakes her head as she takes a last sip of her tea, finishing it off. You don't seem very jealous of Lily having lots of friends. Don't you want to make some more friends yourself, or get to know some of hers? I'm not jealous. I don't like people, so I don't mind not having many friends. That's really not the answer I was expecting. She doesn't look fearful or sad as she says it, but rather quite serious. Hanako rubs your arm awkwardly, having taken my quietness as a reason to continue. I'm not really sure what I should say, so I end up simply giving her my attention in silence. In middle school, I got bullied a lot. I was called names and got excluded from work groups and sports teams. There were worse things too. And that's what made you not look like other people? Or that's what made you not like other people? She shakes her head. That was elementary school. I feel bad for bringing this up now. Adults have enough problems dealing with Hanako's scarring. Children would be all the worse. I had assumed that the way she tried to make her presence not felt was just to avoid people staring at her or because she was afraid of them. Certainly not because she genuinely didn't want to interact with them in the first place as well. I mean, fair, children are dicks. Like, children tend to be little dickheads, like little shits. As somebody who was bullied in school, I can relate. Not necessarily as much as Hanako was, but still. I noticed the condensation from my neglected smoothie forming a little puddle around the bottom of the cup, so I take the opportunity to finish it off. As I drink, she begins to fiddle with her phone. It looks like she's remembered the people around her again and begun to tense up. It isn't exactly a cheap phone. I had to save up for quite a while to afford one when I got mine. If Lily went to a private school, she probably wouldn't have too much trouble getting one for a present, though. Watching her fiddle with it gives me an idea. Hey, Hanako, wait for me, I'll be right back. With the now empty cup down, slip my phone into my pocket and begin to move off, carefully stepping around the bag I'd placed beside my feet. Thankfully, sitting around while talking to Hanako has helped me feel a lot better than before. Wait, what? Where are you going? Just stay here, I'll be back in a bit. You'd better be. As much as I'd like to have jogged back, I know full well that I couldn't. Also, yeah, I can't jog, I can't sprint, I can't run, I can't even walk fast, or I'm going to tire myself out and my legs are gonna get sore. I end up walking back to the cafe, a little blue bag in my right hand. Hanako notices me quickly, looking about as confused as she did when I left. I deposit the diminutive bag in front of her and sit back down. Is this? It's for you. You can open it. But... Go on. She looks very unsure about it, but eventually gives in, slowly opens the bag and picks its contents out. A silver chain phone strap dangles from her fingers, ending in a delicate flower. It isn't exactly a masterwork of jewelry, but it's about as much as I could afford. I mean, that's cute. I would have loved something like that back when I had a flip phone that could have little chains on it. Now we just have smartphones that we can't put little dangly chains on. It's kind of cringe. Hanako's eyes light up when she looks at it. It's the kind of reaction I was hoping for. The summer sun's light glints off the silver as it twists to and fro a little. It's not too ostentatious, but still looks a little charming. I think it suits her well. Hanako lowers the phone strap to the table and looks to me once more. But it's not Christmas or my birthday. It's fine, don't worry about it. I just thought it might be nice to have something to decorate your phone with. I don't have anything to give you. I told you it's fine. Friends can give things to each other like this sometimes, right? Yeah? You don't have to have a special occasion to buy things for someone. Friends. Hanako lowers her face so much that I can't see her expression. She eventually nods before taking her phone and fiddling with the strap to attach it properly. She looks to me and smiles as she holds up her phone, now adorned with the little flower. Thank you, Hisao. Her smile proves infectious. Oh, it does. I gotta turn on my smile toggle. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice a couple getting up and leaving. That reminds me that the bus back to town below Yamaku will be coming soon. I guess I'd better be... I can speak? I guess I'd better be going if I want to catch the next bus back to town. You coming as well? Yes. She hastily nods before carefully putting her phone back into her pocket and getting out of her chair. I do the same and pick up the bag I'd left beside me on the way out. We walk side by side as we make our way to the bus station, exchanging no words between us. Hanako's gaze is firmly locked ahead of her, though she looks very happy with herself. Good, she should be happy. I'm not sure what I should say to her, but I'm also not sure that I need to say anything. The fact that Hanako is happy, and happy because of me, is enough to make the load on my arm feel light as a feather. Yeah, sometimes you don't need to talk, you can just sit in silence, and that's all that's needed. This should be another scene. Yes. I think we have 3 scenes left. We consult our lovely flowchart. Yes. This indeterminate future, adulthood, and then the good ending. Well, I think adulthood is the good ending. Yes. We're almost there. We're almost to the good ending. 11.5 hours last night, and 2 hours now, and we're almost to the good ending. And then I can finally focus on health stuff. Finally reaching the classroom after the usual walk from the dormitories, I step inside. My eyes immediately turn to the third seat from the left in the back row, Hanako's seat. It's empty, and after glancing around the classroom, it looks like she isn't here yet. 2 girls from the newspaper club are here in the 2 seats to the left of Hanako's, as are Shuzune and Misha, but that's about it. We exchange morning greetings before I take my seat. I have to admit that this is a bit of a relief. This gives me at least a few more minutes to think. Not that I haven't been doing so previously. Ever since our trip to town, Hanako has been on my mind. I still don't know what to make of my relationship to Hanako. I like her, I can admit that much to myself. I want to protect and shield her from the pain she feels. I really don't think my feelings are just those of friendship anymore. But that said, I feel like I don't even know her. If I made a move on her, how would she take it? Is she in an emotional state that allows her to make a reasonable decision about a relationship? How would she cope with anything that might happen afterwards? There's also the possibility that I'm just completely misinterpreting Hanako. Not a difficult thing to do with someone whose social skills seem to be so underdeveloped. The sound of footsteps comes up to the door, making me perk up. It ends up just being Miki. I mean, I like Miki. Miki's cool. Not who I wanted to see, but still. She barely acknowledges my existence when I accidentally make eye contact with her. I'm about to look away, but another person comes in not long after she takes her seat. Best girl. I feel myself freeze as I see Hanako enter. This isn't a rational reaction, but I have no idea about how I should act or what I should say to her. For a moment, our eyes meet. And then, just as quickly, she looks away and moves to her seat without saying a single word. As is now usual for the period following classes, my face is buried deep in a book that I find thoroughly uninteresting. Studying is not something that comes naturally to me. I didn't study a lot before coming to Yamaku, and until now, I've largely managed to coast through on talent alone. It's frustrating that I can't do that anymore. Judging by the faces of the other few students in the library, I don't think I'm alone in my distaste for this. Misery loves company, I suppose. I decided to spend lunchtime with Hanako since we haven't had lunch together for a while now. I may as well have spent the time studying, though, aside from pathetically small snippets of small talk, there was barely a word said between us. Why does she keep doing this to me? I just want to protect her, to be there for her, but every time I feel like we're coming closer, we end up further away. Are you busy? Hanako? My head whips around in surprise, causing her to retreat in fright. That was bad timing. If I hadn't been thinking about her at that very moment, I probably wouldn't have been nearly so startled. Sorry, you just startled me. I find myself staring at her longer than I should, so I go back to the text lying on the table in front of me. I feel more like I'm just staring at the words rather than actually reading. Which, you know, fair, studying sucks. If it's not something interesting, it's just gonna be boring. I get the feeling Hanako can notice this as well, and so I sigh and close the book. What's up? I was just wondering what you were reading. She looks a little downcast after my reaction to seeing her. Giving up on the prospect of getting any more work done, I get up and return the book to its place on a nearby shelf. Just an English textbook. Has it helped? It helped me realize I don't like English, yeah? Hanako gives a small giggle. I may muse in the strange state of our friendship, but I do know that such little gestures are things that I wouldn't see were I not at least some distance closer to her than when we first met. I look at her for a moment, thinking about what I do and don't know about her. It's a slightly depressing topic. Is something wrong? If I want to know more about her, maybe I should stop being so evasive about it. Talking with Lily as an equal rather than just being constantly in fear of causing her to become upset worked fine. So I should just try a straightforward approach with Hanako as well. Hey, Hanako, do you mind if I ask you a question? I don't mind. I want to know what your life was like. Your life before coming to Yamaku. She hesitates. I briefly consider backing off, but she seems to be taking the question quite seriously. I sit and watch her, silently letting her take her time. She's not making eye contact with me and looks almost as if she's arguing with herself into letting herself open up to me more. Her answer finally comes in a stiff, almost reluctant nod. She looks far more tense than she did before I asked. Okay, but in return, you have to tell me about your life as well. I nod and follow her as she begins to walk out the library so we can talk. By now, most of the students have already left the main building, so apart from a few people hovering around club rooms, the hallways are largely empty. I guess we'll start with coming to Yamaku. Let's see. I was in the hospital when my parents first told me about the Yamaku Academy. The doctor told me I shouldn't go to my old school anymore. My parents agreed and persuaded me to apply for Yamaku, even though it would be living away from them for the first time. It must have been hard for you. Well, yeah. I have to admit that it was. My parents both work long hours and full-time, so having to live reasonably independently wasn't anything new to me. It was the fact that I was going to a school for disabled students that hit the hardest, I think. And you? A small group of chatting girls passes us as we meet at the stairs, with Hanako pressing herself tightly to my side until we reach the ground floor. She doesn't usually come this close while just walking in the school, so I'm left a little put off. The staff at the orphanage offered me some options on what I could do. Middle school hadn't been good, so I thought that Yamaku might be better. It was isolated, and I thought it might be easier to get by here with most of the others being disabled. It's pretty ironic that the reasons Hanako looked forward to Yamaku are the exact reasons I hated the idea. To me, it felt like I was being shunted somewhere away from society and everyone I knew. To Hanako, that was probably an inviting prospect. What was life like at the orphanage? It was okay. The staff there were nice, and they took care of us. The children there didn't talk to me much, but I didn't really want to talk with them either, so I didn't mind. The orphanage had a little library, so I started to read to pass the time. The staff didn't mind it, because it made me easier to handle than many of the other children. You didn't make any friends there? No, I think my life was on hold during that time. I knew that, but I didn't mind. To think her life was on hold for all that time, though. Depending on when the fire happened, that was a huge chunk of her life. No parents, no friends, apparently no relatives. We walked through the door into the courtyard. I expect to need to avert my eyes from the sun, but by now it's well into sunset. Hanako's eyes keep flicking to me, so I look away from her for a bit. Is it like in the hospital? I quickly clear my thoughts and try to refocus them. I hesitate for a bit, but I know that I have to tell her. We're close enough for her to feel comfortable telling me this, so it's only fair that I reciprocate. It was okay at times, but at others it was pretty bad. At the beginning, everyone sent their sympathies and came to visit often. It was just like breaking an arm or something. Meeting all my friends was one of the good times. Hanako came in often as well, more often than anyone else. But there were bad times too. When my friends slowly stopped visiting, I began to realize how grave the situation was. It reminded me that this wasn't just a broken limb, but I was now a different person than before. Even the times Iwanaka would spend with me became torturous. By the end, we were reduced to silence, whereas before she'd be talking constantly. But that's how Iwanaka always was. She may have been a fragile person, but she would talk constantly to try and hide that fact. Not about anything in particular, just talk. Mood? I think the three lowest points would have been when my parents told me I wouldn't be going to my old school anymore, my birthday passing while in the hospital, and when Iwanaka left for the last time. We leave the school buildings behind us as we begin to follow the main path through the gardens. There may have been the odd bystander in the school buildings, but outside we're practically alone. What was your middle school like? I liked it. I grew up in a really metropolitan area, and the middle school was nearby, so it was pretty crowded. I didn't mind it, probably because I'm used to being in crowds and around lots of other people. I got good grades and I played soccer with my friends, spent a fair bit of time hanging out with them after school as well. Did get teased a bit over my hair though. Your hair? I grimaced a little as I put a hand over my hair to cover it. I'd keep getting tufts and strands I refused to flatten or stay where I wanted them, and my mother wouldn't let me just get my hair shaved. It had a habit of popping out no matter how much I tried to brush it down. It still does, a little. I was worried I'd get that reply. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I gave a mild laugh and waved it off. It's fine, I know it still does. It feels strange to have someone act so interested in my past. If it were anyone else, I'd think they were just acting polite, but that's something I really don't think Hanako would do. Or if she did, she'd do it so badly it would be obvious. There are a number of girls in the common room on the ground floor, and Hanako presses herself to my side once more as we pass them. I expect her to break off, but instead she continues to cling onto me as we walk towards the stairway. Something about the way she's holding onto me feels different from the usual. I'm left deep in thought as we walk up the stairs and down the hallway. It's only when we stop that I look up and realize that I've been following her without question. Why did we come to your dormitory room? She looks straight at the door without so much as a glance in my direction. Hanako? She moves to answer but stops herself. So I know what comes next. It's not a Luigi scene, but it's enough that I will definitely want to quickly mark my stream as uh 18 plus for a brief little bit. I think I can do that while I'm midstream. Mm, I mean, is there a way? Okay, I need to go into my stream settings real quick. Let me figure out where that is. I don't think I can do it from mobile, so let's bring it up on the web browser real quick. Just because I want to mark this as, or at least be able to toggle on that function. Settings, stream. Ah, Did they move it? Should be stream. That's under stream manager. I just can't do it on mobile. So we're just gonna here. I just want to be able to mark it as 18 plus. Like, yeah, it's not a mature rated game. It's just, oh god, fine. I can't change it. That's fine. It'll be fine as it is. It's not like lewd or anything. It's just shows a little bit of something for a bit. If I think it's too much, I'll tab out of it. I'll still do the reading on everything. Knowing that I can't specifically mark it as randomly as 18 plus. Anywho. Instead, she silently breaks from my side, opens her door, and steps inside. I look up and down the hallway, a bit lost as to exactly what I should do. Shrugging, I decide to follow her since I don't have any reason to do otherwise. And I mean, Boss Lady played TLC on stream and that showed bare titties. I'll be fine with this. Hanako stands in the middle of her room and looks straight at me. It's unnerving when she does this, as it's such an unusual action for her. I open my mouth to speak, but she preempts me. Could you close and lock the door? Hanako's hand reaches for her chest, grabbing her blouse at her heart. I turn and lock the door. Lock the door shut and freeze. The atmosphere is beginning to feel quite strange. This feeling is only made more profound when I hear the curtains being pulled behind me. It's going to be night soon. We're a guy and a girl in a bedroom. She's closing the curtains and I'm shutting and locking the door. She can't really have that in mind, can she? She sure as hell cannot, because we don't have a Ludi toggle, because this is the Steam version, doesn't have the Ludi in it. I gulp and turn around very, very slowly. Hanako is in the center of the room but hasn't turned back to face me. You told me about your past, so I have to tell you mine. She takes a deep, shuddering breath and pauses for a number of seconds. Her hands move to her ribbon and begin to tug, all but confirming my thoughts. Hanako, please don't say anything. I obediently stay hushed as she slips off her ribbon and continues to unbutton her blouse before working the clip on her bra. The process is slow. Perhaps it just feels slow because of what she's doing, I'm not sure. Oh right, she goes titties out, but I think this censors it. I'm just gonna go to BRB real quick just to see how censored it gets. Frozen to the spot, all I can do is watch as Hanako, hands trembling, unclips her skirt and lets it drop to the ground. Oh right, her hair covers up much of everything, so you're just looking at her from behind. That's actually not the worst in a game. Finally, she takes her blouse in her hands and draws it off, her bra falling from her shoulders. And so, Hanako stands in the middle of the room, all but bared save for her stockings and underwear. This is me. All of me. Oh, why did you have to do that? My eyes are immediately drawn to the scarring on her back. The skin on her right side is of a similar texture to that of her face, but it's also stretched taut and covering a much larger area. Scarring is by far the worst on the shoulder, buttock, and thigh. Just as my heart attack redefined my life, this is the event that redefined Hanako's. If I'd seen this when I'd first met her, I'd have been shocked. Not only at the sight, but also at the idea that something like this was survivable. But after having had time to get used to the idea, and after seeing the scars on her face, hands, and collar, my reaction is more measured. My reaction right now is not due to her scarring, but to her body. The fire happened when I was 8 years old. It was night and we were sleeping when it started. Hanako's voice trembles, the shaking of her blouse giving away the fact that her hands are doing just the same. I curled up into a ball when the fire swept over me. My mother tried to shield me. That's the only reason I lived. Hanako's eyes begin to moisten, her voice cracking under the combined pressure of exposing herself to me like this and reliving those painful memories of so long ago. I want to say something, anything, to make her feel better. I can't, though. I feel completely useless when faced with a situation like this. She's forcing herself to come so close, yet it's at times like this that I feel most distant to her. I'm sorry for making you see this. There's no point in denying the obvious. I think what I should say now, and what Hanako wants me to say now, is the truth. What I genuinely, honestly believe. It doesn't matter. You're a wonderful person, Hanako. Your body doesn't change that. She looks at me for a long time, her breathing uneven as she tries to remain steady amidst the emotions we're both feeling. It feels less like she's looking at me than she's looking through me. I slowly walk towards her and gently place my hands on her shoulders as she lets go of her blouse. She gasps a little, not in fright, but in simple startlement. Being so close to her caused my mind to become a jumble of feelings. The scarring on her shoulder, plain to see and leather-like to the touch, conflicts strangely with her otherwise soft skin and silky dark hair. Hanako is a girl with all that entails. She's taller than usual for a woman, but still has curves in all the right places. The nape of her neck, just visible thanks to her hair slung over her shoulder, is alluring. I know that I'm not pretty like Lily. I just wanted you to see me, the real me. I've already seen the real you, so you didn't need to take off your clothes for that. Her lips are open, just a little. She lets out a sharp breath as, without thinking, I breathlessly lean forwards and press my lips to hers. The kiss only lasts for a fleeting moment before our faces part, our breathing quick and nervous. The feeling of Hanako's mouth lingers, and her eyes remain locked to mine. Okay, yeah, this is how it censors it. I forgot that it censors the lewd scene of some fruit. I think that's a cantaloupe? I forgot that it censors the lewdness with fruit. So, yeah, get dunked on, Mr. Tweets. You can't punish me. There's no lewdness here. We're good. My eyes feel heavy as they slowly open, the light from outside making me blink to let them get adjusted. My body feels like lead, and my head feels just as heavy. Waking up to an unfamiliar ceiling is an uncomfortable feeling. It reminds me of the first time I awoke to the dimpled white tile ceiling of the hospital. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. On Wednesday, waking up after surgery and, oh, the ceiling's different. This isn't my bedroom. I'm in the hospital. And then Thursday morning, again waking up, still in the hospital from recovery. It's only after spending a few seconds staring up at it that I realize where I am. This is Hanako's dormitory room. I feel as though my heart stopped again as the events of last night rushed through my head, blood rushed to my cheeks, and I shut my eyes once more. There's very little point to getting myself worked up this early though, so I try to push such things out of my mind for now. I roll my head to the side to see if Hanako's where she was when I drifted off to sleep. All that's there now is an empty space on the bed and the room beyond. I sluggishly sit up and rub my eyes before pinching the bridge of my nose and looking around the room. The only person here is me. I'm still bereft of my clothes, and after a quick scan of the floor for them, I notice that they're neatly folded in a corner of the room. Try as I might, I can't see Hanako's anywhere. Taking advantage of the fact that I have some time without anyone around, I get myself dressed for the coming school day in short order. And then, I'm alone. Without anything more to busy myself with, my mind becomes focused on the fact that I'm standing in another person's bedroom after we spent the night together, but there's not a single sign of her around. My gut proves to be more helpful to my brain in working out this riddle. With a loud growl, it reminds me that she may well just be getting breakfast. I would have liked to wake up next to her, but maybe it's a good thing that I have a few moments alone. Hanako's room, as always, is quite bleak in appearance. There are precious few decorations and practically no personal artifacts that aren't hidden away in cupboards and drawers. She lived here for 3 years, but the room looks like it's as if it's barely been occupied for a single day. I shouldn't overthink this. She might just like living this way as some do. Having the ability to put such low stock in physical possessions does have its advantages, but even so, it feels a little disconcerting given her past. She said she viewed herself as having had her life on hold while at the orphanage. She certainly lives as if she still does, but after what happened last night, it's pretty hard to imagine that she still thinks that way. The sound of the door handle cracks through my thoughts and I turn to face it. Sure enough, Hanako comes through and shuts the door behind her. She has what seems to be 2 microwave instant meals in her hands, so this is a little difficult. Good morning, Hanako. Morning. She gives a little bow before making her way to her desk, setting down both plates. I can now see them to be small satay dishes, their contents steaming with a fork stuck inside the rice of each. Oh, satay sounds so good right now. I was saying ramen sounds good, but satay sounds good. I give thanks to her for bringing them in, and we each take one and get down to eating. She sits on her desk chair while I sit on the edge of the bed. I don't like talking while eating, so the silence between us isn't annoying in and of itself. It's the fact that it only exists because we don't quite know what to say to each other that's off-putting. Hanako glances toward me every so often as she eats. I only notice her doing so because I'm doing just the same thing. We're eating together as if we were a couple. We even had woohoo last night, a first for the both of us. Something feels wrong though. Maybe that's why we can't say even a word to each other as we finish our plates and leave them in the sink. Maybe that's why we leave Hanako's room without holding hands or making small talk. Maybe that's why it feels as if we're further apart than we've ever been before. We enter the classroom together, neither of us so much as glancing at each other. Just after we do, I realize that this may have been a mistake. Shizune lifts her eyebrow at the sight, her suspicions raised. We reach the center aisle between the classroom's desks and look to each other. I'm not quite sure what I should say. Does she want me to address her as a girlfriend? I didn't think our relationship was... Oh, that's why this feels so strange. See you. Okay. I awkwardly hold up a hand as we part and take our seats at our respective desks. I can't even look back to her out of embarrassment. I feel like the gulf between Hanako and me is because of me. Shizune begins to make her way towards me, but then Muto enters the room. I'm thankful for his arrival being so well timed, drawing Shizune and her questioning away to wait for another time. I wouldn't have been able to answer her anyway. I like Hanako, but I've never told her what my feelings for her are. Hanako never said she saw me as anything beyond a friend either, yet despite that we've slept together. The bell to signal the beginning of lunch rings out. Muto is taken a little off guard, his chemistry lecture being cut off mid-sentence, much to his chagrin. I think that's how it's pronounced. For the entirety of the class, his rambling has passed through one ear and out the other as my mind mulls over the question of Hanako. I can't get her out of my mind, and by now I've managed to wind myself up about it. I realize that she never said yes to what we did. She didn't say no either, but would she have been able to? She's extremely submissive at the best of times, and no doubt it took her a gargantuan effort to show me her scarring. I decided to try and at least make conversation with her. That would be better than the monosyllabic... That's how that's pronounced, right? Monosyllabic communication that's been the most we managed between each other so far today. That's a big word that I don't... I mean, I could probably figure the meaning, but it's also just a big word. I walk to her desk and intend to chat, but she awkwardly blushes and looks down even before I've come up to her. I take a breath to speak, but find myself lost for words. What in the world should I say to her? Hearing approaching footsteps, I turn to see Shizune and Misha already making their way towards us, no doubt with the intent to start asking troublesome things. A couple of other classmates are looking at us, gossiping between themselves as they throw sidelong glances. They must also have noticed Hanako and me coming in together earlier. I open my mouth to reassure Hanako, but she preempts me. I've got to go do something. She hasn't said that in a while. She gets out of her chair and dashes for the door. A couple of the books and pens that were on her desk are sent falling to the floor in her rush. Not many people seem to care about this event. A few look around to see what all the fuss is about, but go back to what they were previously doing soon after. I'm left despairingly looking at the door that Hanako disappeared out of. The idea of running after her passes through my mind, but I'm fairly sure that Hanako can run faster than I can. And besides, what would I say to her once I caught up, anyway? Eventually, I simply crouched down and began picking up the items that had fallen to the ground from her desk. I feel low in every way, reduced to this as students pass by me on their way out of the room. I feel a tap on my shoulder. I look up to see Shizune and Misha looking at me, curiosity about the situation written on their faces mixed with a slightly apologetic look at the idea that they were partially responsible for what just happened. Hip-chan, if we can help at all. I just shake my head. This isn't a matter for them, and from Shizune's expression and the tone of Misha's voice, I think they know the same thing. Shizune acknowledges my response and gives a solemn bow before making her way out of the room. Misha soon follows her out, obediently following her role as Shizune's shadow. I pick myself up, books and pens in hand, and place them inside Hanako's desk. With the classroom now empty, I end up just leaning against her desk and thinking to myself in silence. It feels like there's a complete emotional disconnect between Hanako and me. We haven't known each other for all that long, and despite wanting to start going out with her, I really don't know that much about how Hanako feels things. I've been studying as hard as I can for exams, but I still don't feel as like I have any real sense of direction behind it. I tried to be a friend to Hanako, even if I couldn't tell her my feelings, and all we've done is drive each other apart. I couldn't even write a letter back to the one girl who ever loved me, Iwanako. What should I do? What can I do? I simply don't know the answer to either of those questions. I do know that nobody else can help me with them. Just going back to the way things were would be enough to make me happy, but I know that it can never happen. Something changed between us last night. Maybe it changed beforehand and it just came to a head then. I know that there's a wall that Hanako has between me and her. I've been hitting that wall every time I've tried to interact with her on any level. But now I'm beginning to think that I have my own wall between us just as much as she does. She had to practically drag my past out of me, and mine was much less traumatic than hers. I wanted to say it's because I haven't had long to adjust since my heart attack, but I know full well that it would just be an excuse. The one time I can recall when it really felt like she was opening up to me of her own accord, when we were playing billiards in the city, I was the one who stopped her from going further. I want to know Hanako rather. I want to save our relationship, if not begin a real relationship with her. My mind begins to tick as I lean against her desk, thinking to myself in the empty classroom that we've spent so much time in together. I have to talk to Hanako. I pace around in the park, feelings of anxiety rolling over me. Every so often, I reach into my pocket to take out my phone, but each and every time I hesitate and end up slipping it back in. If this were any normal situation, I wouldn't be cutting classes. Unfortunately, it isn't. And so I find myself in the town below the school at 2 in the afternoon. Ever since I've met Hanako, I've been the one to initiate everything between us. I'm the one that started conversations, went to her wherever she was, and suggested what we should do. Today, this once, I don't want to be the only one doing that. My hand dives into my pocket once more. This time, I quickly navigate to the texting menu before I have a chance to change my mind again. Hanako, if you want to talk, I'll be at the park in town for a while. Fighting a last measure of doubt, I thumb in my message to Hanako and press the button to send it. And now, I wait. My part in this has been fulfilled. What needs to happen now is for Hanako to make the decision. It would be meaningless for me to drag her here. She needs to decide for herself whether she wants to meet me. The apple juice from the vending machine tastes awfully bitter as I swill it down. My grip on the can has caused it to dent slightly in the middle. I shouldn't be this tense, but it's probably inevitable. Hanako is dear to me. What happened in the last couple of days has put a lot of pressure on both of us. The idea of losing all the progress we made and coming closer to one another and losing our friendship as a whole is deeply unsettling. But even then, I still don't really know how close we are. We may have had woohoo, But before that, all I knew us to be was friends. Maybe we are more than that, but if so, I never realized it. Maybe that's why I feel so uneasy right now. I don't understand Hanako, despite all the times we spent together. The minutes are ticking by, and I still have no idea whether she'll show up. Is Sal? I pause for a moment, almost not believing that I'm hearing the voice I am hearing. I drop the can and stand up with a start. Hanako. We look at each other for a few seconds before Hanako becomes too embarrassed to maintain eye contact and begins to nervously fiddle with the roughly cut lock of hair covering the side of her face. When I went to see Hanako in her room by myself after her breakdown, I had no idea what to say. That was fine then. All either of us wanted was each other's presence. Now, though, I feel like I need to talk to her directly. I want to break down this wall between us before it forces us apart for good. Hanako, what we did that night, how should I interpret that? Hanako stops playing with her hair and looks at me, her head cast slightly downwards. She looks ashamed, which is probably a good mirror. Thank you, Saribot. What an interesting name. Hanako stops playing with her hair and looks at me, her head cast slightly downwards. She looks ashamed, which is probably a good mirror of how I would look if I weren't so concerned. I thought you might eventually go away if I was only someone you needed to protect. I thought that if I let you do that, you might see me as someone more than that. Oh, Hanako. My first reaction is disbelief, but I did do it with her after all. I had plenty of opportunities where I could have stopped things, stepped back, and questioned what we were doing. In the end, though, I didn't. A horrible feeling rises in the pit of my stomach. She offered herself to me because of what she thought I wanted, and now it feels like I took advantage of her. She may have been willing, but only under false premises. I have never been good at hiding my emotions from physically showing, and now is no different. Hanako looks down once more, a strange mixture of depression, regret, and sickness written to her face. Thick silence hangs in the air, save for the breeze blowing through the trees around us. I knew you couldn't look at me that way. Hanako's words are said in little more than a whisper, seemingly directed just as much at herself as to me. In what way? What do you mean? All I ever was to you was a useless person, just someone to protect, someone like a child. I wanted to be more to you than that, but after so long, I got used to it. The tone of her voice is unlike any I've heard her use before. She sounds disgusted, not at me, but at herself. After I came out of my room, I saw that you started drifting away. I felt like I was going to lose you because you wanted somebody you could have that kind of relationship with. You were more quiet in school than before, and you were getting on so well with Yuko. I thought that I might lose you. She thought I was bored of her because I wanted a romantic relationship. But we're friends, right? I wouldn't just abandon you like that, even if what you're saying was true. Friendship was something I thought I'd given up on. I stopped believing in others after what happened after the accident. Before the accident happened, I got on well with people and other children. I didn't have many friends, but I didn't mind because I treasured the ones that I had. Afterwards, though, I was called names by the others and teased a lot. It hurt, really deeply. The teachers tried to help, but they couldn't do much, and even many of them recoiled just at the sight of me. Among those calling me names and teasing me were the ones that I thought were my closest friends. From then on, I believed that it didn't matter if nobody else acknowledged me. All my existence ever did was make people troubled, after all. It was easier if I just didn't exist. Oh boy, I get that. Boy howdy do I get that feeling. But after meeting Lily, and then you, I tried, but I couldn't make myself think that way again. All that time, she didn't trust me. She thought, just like everyone else in her life had, that she was worthless. Someone to throw away once I got bored of being with her. That hurts. That's the one kind of person I never ever wanted to be seen as, because I know better than most just how horrible it feels to be thrown away by those who I thought liked me. Yeah, I get that. She's cracking from the memory she's bringing up. I feel useless, completely unable to console her. In a strange way, though, I am almost thankful that she's allowing me to know this. The wall between us is going away even if it hurts so badly to bring it down. Hanako, if you just told me. Was I wrong? Of course you. She wasn't. Hanako wasn't wrong. It's difficult to force myself to admit this, but I know trying to deny it is pointless. To me, and to Lily, she was someone we tried to protect. She had become to me what I had become to my friends after my heart attack. A broken person. I liked her, possibly even loved her, but I never acted on that precisely because I thought she was so fragile. I mean, I don't look at you that way now. I got worried about you after what happened to you in class, and I thought I should try to protect you. When you locked yourself in your room, though, I got afraid. I thought you were rejecting me, and it forced me to think a lot about different things. I wasn't rejecting you. She blurts it out with an almost scared tone to her voice, taking me off guard. She quickly becomes embarrassed by her outburst before clenching her fists and working through what she wants to say in her mind. I wouldn't ever do that, not to you. Even though I was scared, even though I tried to push you away, you still tried to get closer to me. I locked myself away because I was just a burden to you, to Lily, to everyone. Every birthday was the same. Everyone doing their best to pretend that I mattered. Everyone pretending that everything was alright for that one day of the year. I didn't want to exist, but they wouldn't let me. Even after meeting Lily, everything was the same. I was as useless as I'd always been, unable to do anything for her or for myself. I didn't want to be the same way to you. Lily and I were completely wrong. From what she said, everything we did for her, it would have only made her feel worse. Even what little I thought I had right about her was a complete misjudgment. After you locked yourself in your room, I decided to try to work out my past as well, and sort out my future. I didn't know how to deal with the things I'd lost by coming to Yamaku, so I was trying to sort them out myself. I thought it would help us become better friends if I did that. Silence hangs in the air again. I try to keep looking at her, but I can't. I feel really low, and though I want to apologize, I don't know how I possibly could. I hear her take a deep breath and only look back to her after hearing her drop to the ground. Fuck me, man. The sound of her crying breaks my heart. I know I'm responsible for this, and I know that I can't do anything to help her. If Hanako feels ashamed, then I feel all the more so. I rescue her as tears continue to roll down her cheeks unabated, wrapping my arms around her. I don't care about how I must look anymore. I just want to be close to her right now. I'm sorry, is how I've messed up everything. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm the one that should be sorry. I was meddling around behind your back, and I never told you anything. I can feel my grip tightening on Hanako as my vision blurs. I can't be bothered trying to hold back now. I have to force my words out as a lump begins to stick in my throat. To tell you the truth, Hanako, I was scared. The first time since my heart attack, I was really scared. Sao? I lost so much when I came to Yamaku. I was depending on you more than I ever thought I did. Even now, I still have that hole inside me. After losing my entire life and everyone I'd known, the thought of losing you as well. But I'm just a useless... You're my friend, Hanako. Oh, you're more than that. I love you, Hanako. I love you so much that the thought of losing you frightened me so much. This is bad. I'm really letting all of this out. I can't bring myself to look at her face right now. I'm sorry, Hisao. I can't help feeling a bit happy. For so long, that's what I've wanted to hear. The last of the floodgates breaks, the sound of her crying permeating the air as her body jerks against mine. We hold each other tightly, connected more closely than ever in our shared grief and our shared happiness. I don't know how things are going to be like after this. Right now, though, I don't care. There's no other person in the world that either of us could possibly share these memories and emotions with. Nobody. After dropping the dirtied can into a bin next to the bench, I take a seat beside Hanako. She puts away the handkerchief I gave her to clean herself up, which hasn't helped much. Then again, I doubt I look much more presentable. Even now, I feel emptied and a bit embarrassed after letting my emotions out in public like that. It's not a bad sensation, though. I think Hanako feels the same way too. Have you calmed down a bit? Yes, thank you. For a while, we just sit and take our time before talking again to one another. We both needed a little time to collect ourselves. The weather is nice at this time of year. Yeah, it is. I close my eyes for a moment, relishing the feeling of the sun's heat and the cool breeze against my face. The weather is really nice today. Really, really nice. You know, I don't really want to go back to classes right now, do you? She shakes her head as she finishes wiping her eyes with her cuff. The small smile she gives is nice, and it's a reminder how earnest it can be. Smiling for other people might be a completely normal, everyday thing. For Hanako, though, she smiles so rarely and so sincerely that each and every time she does it, I feel a sense of relief and happiness. I'm sorry for everything. It's okay. I think we both have a bit to be sorry for. I know that I'm too shy. I know you don't want me to be. I don't think I can. You can change, Hanako. I know that because even in the time I've known you, you've already changed. To be honest, just being able to sit here and talk to you like this means that you've changed a lot since we first met. But I can't be like that for anyone else. I don't have any plans for after school ends, either. Hanako's confidence begins to slide down again, but I think that now I can finally talk to her as an equal. I can do it because I know that we're just the same in so many ways. Just give yourself time, and I think you'll be able to achieve what you want. No, I'm sure that you'll be able to do it. I can see you've been trying, and I have faith in you. And you can depend on me if you feel like you need someone to support you, you know? But I can't ask that of you. You can, because that's exactly what I'm asking of you. I'm going through the same thing, you know? It's called love. Hanako smiles before I get off the bench and dust myself off. She does the same in short measure. I'm kinda hungry. Want to grab something to eat? She nods vigorously. The way she's smiling, the way she's acting, even just the general air she gives off. I feel as if this is the first time I've seen her genuinely happy. We both make our way onto the street, walking beside each other. Sal? Yeah? I think I don't really understand you. I don't think I understand you either. I believe that's fine, though. There's not a single hint of despair in our voices. Not understanding each other is only natural. The walls we set up between ourselves couldn't possibly be broken down in a single day. But that's fine. As long as we take it day by day and try to understand one another, I think everything will be okay. As we walk down the street, though, Hanako's eyes flick to my face and back to the street repeatedly. Is something on your mind? You look restless. She slows before stopping completely. When I turn the meter, she takes a long, deep breath, looking at my face intently. This expression, I saw it once before on her face, just once when I accidentally surprised her in her room. I think I have something that I need to give you. What is it? You don't need to be evasive about it. I wanted to give you this for a long time, but now that I need to, it's too embarrassing. Don't worry, I'll accept it, whatever it is. She gives a sweet, bashful smile before taking my shoulder in her hand. Then, please, accept my first gift to you, Hisao. Hanako? I really need to set up a happy crying expression. But this is cute. And fuck me, I gotta update my times I've cried counter. Can you face your fears? Read Hanako's good ending. Yeah, fuck me, I cried. Multiple times, damn it. Well... Oh yeah, this was updated, so now it shows beta art from the beta versions. Concept art. I'm gonna delay the last ad break. I don't want to end my stream on ads, that's cringe. 11.5 hours yesterday, 3 hours today, but we've done it. We've gotten the good ending of the best girl. The girl who inspired the design of my first character who became my VTuber. And to think this game was made by a bunch of people from 4chan who decided to make a visual novel. Okay. With that, we are now ready to end stream for the last time for a month, at least. 3 weeks to a month. I don't know how long it's gonna take to recover from surgery, but yeah, and I'll get there. Let me just update this real quick. Like that. Let's find someone to write out to on Twitch. Or start crying again. See who's doing anything. But yeah, I will have my 3.0 debut on Wednesday. It's going to be a series of posts I'll have scheduled. They will go live at a very specific time. And yeah, I got everything ready. I'm gonna set it up today to get the schedule going. And yeah, Wednesday you will get to see my debut. For now, though, let's... Fuck me. Let's not do that, but let's raid into someone. Olivia's chatting, she has guests. Let's see if we can raid into Roku, because they're playing The Simpsons Hit and Run. That'd be a fun raid. Okay, so my lovely, darling catfish who I treasure so very much. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, rest of your week. I will see you all in 3 weeks, a month. You'll know when I'm ready to come back. And remember, Big Sis loves you.